Hello, it is SaturJay RPG. Don't know why I said it in quite such a peculiar fashion, but oops, that's not what I was after. Blooming thing. Sometimes these things just don't like working, do they? No, okay, there we go. I think we've gotten to a state of it functioning, and functioning is about as much as you can hope for. Right, let's pop on the old controller. Hibbity, done. And now let's turn on the old Final Fantasy 13. The 13th Final Fantasy. Although technically it's not the 13th Final Fantasy, of course. It's the 13th in the main line. It is actually substantially more than 13 Final Fantasies in the overall global world of Final Fantasy. Because, I mean, I think you'd have Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3. I don't know of any sort of side ones from that point. 4, 5. Again, up to about 5. I'm not sure whether they did many of the side paths, but I can't remember. Can't remember the exact dates. I mean, I would applaud anyone if they could, in fact, know the exact dates of every single Final Fantasy game ever brought to market. That would impress me. It would worry me that you'd gone to the effort of memorising all of that, but it would, nonetheless, impress me. So there you go. Eidolons come to grant a despairing to see the death they crave, or so it is believed. But when the Eidolon Alexander is summoned by hope's confused anguish, Lightning sees a different reason behind the entity's appearance. She comes to believe that the Eidolons appear in order to prevent l'Cie from giving up on themselves. When l'Cie, consumed by despair or rage, are close to losing their path, an Eidolon appears and gives them a life or death trial to overcome, thereby forcing them to rethink their decision to surrender. Through this hit battle with Alexander, Hope renews his determination to survive and rejoins the others as they set off to the path that way lies the village of Urba. Whew, made it. Oh, golly. If they can reach Fang and Vanille's home time, if they can reach Fang and Vanille's home time, it means it's time to go home and it's the end of school. Then maybe they can learn the true story behind the War of The one quality you need when doing this is the ability to speak words. The War of Transgression, and find a clue to help them break the shackles of their focus. The l'Cie continue their journey, each playing their part to keep this tiny flame of hope alive. That's your new nickname, Hope. Your tiny flame. And you've played most of the Final Fantasy games, but no way can I name them all. No, I mean, in fairness, I don't think anybody can. And also, yes, hello to you, Mr. Butternut, and hello to you, Mr. Blue Boosh. It is, of course, SaturJay RPG, where we're playing the JRPG that is Final Fantasy 13. But you can name some of them, of course, because there's some that are quite easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And 16 to be determined in the not-too-distant future, I don't think. And then, of course, there was... I think the first one they did a second of. I suppose technically the movie came first, but that's not actually a game. So I think the first ever Final Fantasy they did a second part to might have been... I think it might have been Final Fantasy X-2. So a Rakshasa lurks along the route to the Yashas Massive, and I'm supposed to hunt it down. I think I'll pass. If it's Crystal or Seath, my life is over anyway. I might as well make the most of it. From here on out, I live for me. So... Oh, no, I would like to do this mission. That is the mission I would like to do. I was double checking. I was actually engaged in it. Right. Map Bahatan, map Abutan. So... Oh, it's all the way... Are you fucking shitting me, guy? Is you having a laugh? Is you having a laugh? Oh. Do note, grindy bit of Final Fantasy 13. I know technically I don't have to actually go back and do it, but I want to do as many of these little sort of oddities as is possible. You've played all mainline FF games except 3 and 13, so I guess I have an aversion to the number 3. Apparently, yeah, weird. But yeah, now, for me, there was only ever one Final Fantasy 3. And I can't help but think for you it might have only ever been one Final Fantasy III. But I'm assuming by Final Fantasy III you are referring to Final Fantasy III and not Final Fantasy VI. I think it's only really Americans that have had that as an issue. I don't recall ever having Final Fantasy VI be Final Fantasy III over here. Now, it might have just been before my time, because I came into Final Fantasy relatively late. I think the first one I ever had was 6, with the actual 6. See what I mean? It gets confusing. For Americans, though, I think is the issue. It's confusing for Americans because they got Final Fantasy VI, but for some reason, best known to the American developers, because I'm assuming they did have the original Final Fantasies 1 and 2. Then they skipped 4, 5 for some reason, best known to themselves, or 3, 4, 5, I suppose, best known to themselves. And then they got Final Fantasy VI come over and decided, oh no, we've only had Final Fantasies 1 and 2, so we'll just do number 3. So it got rebranded in America as Final Fantasy 3. Weird shit, but nonetheless, the official Final Fantasy VI was the first one I came in on, and then I sort of backpedaled through a lot of those other ones, and then I've pretty much played most, if not all of them. I think the only ones I don't really play, and the only one I think of the main series, there's probably a few that I've not caught because they've gone under the radar or some such, but in terms of main series games, the only ones I think I've not played would be Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV. Now, 11 I've never played, I don't think. 14, I was part of the open beta. No, it's not. It's not a big deal. It just I like to think of it as a big deal. I like to think that it's something gloriously spectacular and interesting. That I was part of the original open beta team for the, and by team I mean shitloads of people they sent an invite to. But you know, as I say, I like to think of it as something, something to be sort of like, yes, I was an exclusive person, exclusive in a million, but still. So I have technically played that, but I get the impression it has changed a lot since then. And yeah, so other than that, I have played every single one, I believe. I've even done sort of Final Fantasy Tactics. I do remember the old Final Fantasy Tactics on the Game Boy Advance. I've dabbled. I don't think I ever completed it, but I have dabbled with the old PlayStation Portable War of the Lions Tactics one as well. I think they should probably do another Tactics one soon. I suppose they've lent so far away from sort of turn-based stuff nowadays that maybe they wouldn't want to do a sort of another turn-based strategy one. But then again, I mean, they could easily sort of have a pop and go, oh, we'll stick it on the Switch or something. I reckon it'd do quite well, if you ask me. But yeah, it'd be nice to see another sort of tactics ones. Especially, like, what I wouldn't mind, as much as I love pixel graphics, and I do love pixel graphics, I do slightly lean closer to 3D stuff like this, for better or for worse. I do tend to. So what they could look at doing is something a little bit more sort of, I mean, arguably, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon is sort of absolutely one of the greatest turn-based RPGs of its generation. That's true. Yeah, Bravely Default. I must get the second one of those, because I did enjoy the first one. First one was rather interesting. Although it did start getting a bit tedious, the amount of times you had to sort of restart the game. It was kind of like, yeah, alright, yeah, I'll do it the first time. Oh, you want me to do it another one time? I suppose I could probably do it another time, I get. You want me to do it again? No. I don't do well doing games again and again and again. Which is one of the reasons why... It's one of the reasons I put forth to suggest that Final Fantasy VII Remake is bloody good. Because I really did. I went through the entire game and then went, do you know what? I've enjoyed that so much. I don't want to put it away now. I'm going to do it again on hard mode. And that, frankly, to me, is like simply the greatest of compliments I could give a game. And Final Fantasy VII Remake was bloody good. Bloody good game. everything that makes Final Fantasy VII great, with Final Fantasy with modern day graphics and gameplay style, which made it doubly satisfying. Bravely Default 2 and confirm there is no game relooping mechanic. That is good to know. I mean, certainly it's definitely on my list of games to get on the Switch in the not too distant future. At the moment, though, on the Switch, I am currently engaged in Paper Mario, the Origami King, which has proven to be quite good. It's quite simple, but yet I still swear at it, so that tells you it's got enough challenge in it. As simple as I can state it is, it still retains a degree of challenge, because I still manage to swear at it, despite the fact that it's Paper Mario. But in fairness, I can swear at any game, frankly. I don't think there's ever been a game where I've literally gotten through the entire game without swearing at least once. But that probably says more about me than the game, I suppose. But I don't know. Most games, I've always had this long-running theory that every single game out there, before it's allowed to be unleashed to the public, the studio has to invite a little sort of bullshit manager in there, and he's got a little clipboard, and he ticks off little bits of bullshit, and if they don't meet the bullshit quota, they're not allowed on the market. So if he goes in and goes, look, you've made a really good game here, but it's not ticked any of the bullshit boxes, yeah? So I can't allow it to get on the market. So the game developers then have to go back and ruin their game just to make sure that they've got enough, little bits of irritating bullshit in them, so that, they can get past the bullshit quota and actually get released. Because otherwise there's absolutely no reason for some of these games to just put in little sections of utter garbage that should never be allowed. Played and beat that one recently. I wasn't expecting the writing to be so funny. Oh, it is. It's fantastically well done. I think I've not gotten hugely far in it. I've just crossed the first streamer off of the sort of to-do list. So it's the red streamer. And I must admit, that was a fascinating little boss. Anybody who wants to avoid Mario spoilers, do avert your ears. But the pencil case was quite an interesting boss. Although that was one of the bits where I started swearing at it, because it was like, what do you want me to do, you shithead? Because it was not as obvious. Not as obvious as I would have liked, perhaps. Although I did finally, they do provide a little clue in the envelope, but it took me a couple of rounds to manage to get to said envelope. I suppose arguably I should have perhaps put a focus on getting the envelope, but I didn't, because I thought, come on, I just need to whack it, don't I? Whack it real good. But it turned out, no, I did not. And I kept trying to avoid the situation. And it turned out the solution wasn't avoid the situation, it was go head first into the situation. And that annoyed me. But still, as I say, it says more about me than it does about the game when it comes to me being annoyed. Do slicey dicey doo da. But yeah, so I think there's a few that are sort of on my list of to do on the Switch. I want to try and get the latest Pokemon game, the old Sword and Shield, or Sword and or Shield for me. Probably Sword. I prefer the look of the sword dog. Doggo with sword in mouth. I prefer that over Doggo with shield for head. So I'd probably look to get Sword. The other one... What's the other ones I wouldn't mind? There was another one that just sprang to my brain and then just went... and flitted away. Nah, it's completely gone, but... certainly Pokemon. It's mostly the sort of Switch exclusives that I tend to lean towards. Oh, Zaz! What's happened to you? Oh, you can't... No, you must have been out... Oh, no, you can't use spells, which is why you're using strikes. That's handy. Right. Vanille... Aren't you... Oh, you're resistant, aren't you? bloody woman. Yep, I know. Right, what Saboteur and Synergist. Yeah, go for that. Get me some hastes. And now get you some hastes. And now a final haste. And now, because I've got 5 bars, count them, 5 bars, 5 bars, 5 bars, he can decide not to use all of the 5. No, he is. In fairness, he is using as many as he can to get this one done. One game we did complete a few weeks back, the Outer Wilds. Now, that's not the one I'm thinking of, which is useful information because it now means it's the one I'm not thinking of, which allows me to think of it. Yes, that is how my brain functions. I know. It's insanity. But no, I think I'm thinking of the Outer Worlds or something, which was the Fallout style game. Unless that is the one you're referring to, in which case I'm wrong. But I get the impression that's the one that always gets... There we go. There we go. That's the one. See, that's how my brain works. That's not the one I was thinking of, because I know that's the one I'm thinking of, but if it's not the one I'm thinking of, it must be the other one, so now I'm thinking of it. Yes, I know very little. I know very little of the Outer Wilds. Collector catalogue... I don't know what that does. Ding, dinky, rinky, rinky, dinky. I suppose let's have a... collector catalogue. Okay. Increases the odds of obtaining items after battle. Well, probably not. Do I have any spare accessory slots? No, I don't. So, I think the collector catalogue can go. Suck a dick. So hard that it is confused. I don't know how you suck a dick so hard you get confused, but that's apparently what I've asked it to do. That must be a solid suck. Right, well, unfortunately, you saw me go all the way out to that monster. Now I'm going to have to go all the way back the other way, because that's the correct way. But they put a monster all the way back this way to make you wander all the way down the path. You can see why this Grand Pulse is slightly sucky. It sucks the ever-loving life out of your will to play the game. No, it's not too bad. It really isn't too bad. But yes, Outer Worlds, I absolutely loved that one. That was everything you wanted from a Fallout game, just not named Fallout. So it was very entertaining. And also sort of more sci-fi, which was nice. What was the name of the ship? Oh, I can't remember now, but it was something quite epic, with the ability to just sort of add a sort of I think, on the end. Or at the beginning, rather. You don't add uns on the end. You don't have something explained and then you have something explained un. Explained wasn't the best choice of words there, but I couldn't think of one. Unnecessary. That would have been a better one. You don't have something that's necessary and then you have something that's necessary un. You have something unnecessary. So yeah. But yeah, what was the name of that ship? I do not know. But it, as I say, it tickled a little bit inside me. And sometimes that's all you can really ask for a game from a game, as long as it just tickles a little something inside you. But most recently, and I have mentioned this previously, but I'll mention it again because it is such a fantastically enjoyable game. Most recently, was it the Unsinkable? Ooh. No, because I don't know. Because I wouldn't have thought it would be called the Sinkable in general. But it's along those lines, I think. But I think the un part was added after the fact. So it was something like, I don't know. I definitely can't think of a word that fits, so maybe I'm just wrong. So you might have it if, you know, I cannot. I said no. Unreliable. That feels like it might be. Feels like that might be the one. Oh, you Googled it, so it is the one. Marvellous. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I think it's meant to have been called the Reliable, but they'd added the un onto it. But that was quite a good game. It was very enjoyable. I think there was some DLC I should probably look into purchasing and playing, which would be quite fun. I'd probably start the game again. I'd probably even consider sort of streaming it at some point. Probably need an improvement to my machine, though. And by improvement to the machine, I mean a brand new machine. But I'd have to wait and see there. But yeah, I certainly, it's a game that I would not say no to sort of doing on stream, and that would give me the opportunity to not only replay it, which is always a good, it's always good to have an excuse to replay some of these great things, but it would also give me an excuse to check out the DLC, which is often, again, quite a good reason to do these things on stream, because you can suddenly go, oh yes, now I can check out that DLC I never got round to playing. It's the same with something like Horizon Zero Dawn. I wouldn't mind doing as well, because that will then again allow me to not only replay the game, which is a pleasure because it's a fantastic game, but it will also allow me to check out the DLC that I never got around to checking out the first time round, because it came out just after I finished the game, and as such I'd already moved on to something new, and it didn't seem worthwhile reinstalling and redoing everything to get back into it. I just carried on moving forward in my video game choices. Do. But anyway, the game I've been playing recently, Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. Oh my god, is it good. This is all the fun of Yakuza with the anime dial spun and flung into the stratosphere, because that is how much anime it is. Which makes a degree of sense, because as I discovered, Fist of the North Star is an anime, manga and anime film. And what I hadn't realised, it took me a couple of Google searches and some research to work it out. And it might be something you already know, so you know, I'm not trying to suggest you wouldn't know this fact, but I didn't, and it came as a bit of a surprise to me. But it is in fact Fist of the North Star, if you were unaware. The old... that's meant to be Japanese. I can't speak Japanese, so it's just going to be mumbling nonsense. Nani? It's that famous... it's the famous nanny. There's not many famous nannies out there, apart from perhaps Mary Poppins, but that is one of the more famous nannies. The Nani? I think, in fairness, the Japanese line translates to, oh, is it? Omae wa shindaru? Nani? Yes, I think that is the one. You know the meme, not the game. Well, I think the meme comes from the... now, all of this information take with a pinch of salt, because I do not know for facts. But I think originally, as is often the case with anime, it was a manga. Then it was converted into an anime, and that's where... it's an anime film, I think. Not necessarily a series. I think it was an anime film, which is where the Nani comes from. And then it also, interestingly enough, was a live action film as well, which surprised me. And it also surprised me seeing how shit it was. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh quite so heavily at it, but it really did look garbage. I mean, more so than most films, it did look garbage. But then again, I don't know. There's not... although, having said that, the actual sort of... because if you're unaware... if you know the meme, you should probably know this bit at least. But Hokuto Shinken... pronunciation of that is dreadful, I'm sure, but Hokuto Shinken... I can't remember. That might actually just translate to Fist of the North Star, truth be told, but nonetheless, that's the style he uses, and he uses channeling points to get their internal bits to explode, essentially. So it'll sort of poke you, and you'll go and explode in a gargling mass of sort of bubbling body parts. But but in this sort of live action film, that bit was actually surprisingly good. You know, it was of its time. It was definitely of its time, which was, I think, 80s, 90s. Low budget of its time. But nonetheless, the actual sort of bubbling surface sort of manipulation was surprisingly good. But it was the actual punches the sort of is sort of really speedy punches. It's weird that in the animation and in the video game, it's like it looks and feels quite impactful. Not necessarily impactful enough to do that much damage, which is kind of the point. It's not supposed to look too much like it's trashing a person. It's because obviously the idea is he does the and then goes, "You're already dead," and then they explode. But it is sort of in the game and in the anime, I think it does at least have a certain amount of force to it. Whereas in this live action film, it really didn't. It had nothing, and it looked it's one of those age-old ones where in real life sometimes anime and comics and manga, it don't look right. And this is a prime example, because he was doing the tiny punches, and it just looked horrendous. It looked so pitiful. But, as I say, when he did the turnaround and the "you're already dead," and it was and he started sort of bubbling up, it was actually a surprisingly nice effect. But that's the only bit of that film I've actually watched, in fairness. So I was insulting the film without really, being truly fair to it. So I apologise a little bit to the film. Right, so active Seath stones. Now, I can't remember how this key works. I've got a feeling... Yeah, okay, so flashing ones I think are the ones that I need to do. They're on my to-do list. Whereas... flat ones, if you look there, that one right in the middle of the map, not in the middle anymore, there we go, the one right in the middle of the map, that's a flat colour, means I've done it. This one here, however, flashing colour, means I have not done it. At least that's what I think is the situation. What is the situation? Reference to Taskmaster, for anybody wondering. Hey guys, what's the situation? Nobody knows. So funny. If you've never seen Taskmaster, I highly recommend it. It's just silliness incarnate, and that's sometimes that is what you need. Silliness incarnate is exactly what you need on an evening, or a morning, or a daytime. In fairness, I've been re-watching all the old ones at lunchtime, and then of course there's the new series on Channel 4, 9 o'clock Thursdays. There you go. Not sponsored, but hey, Taskmaster and Channel 4. I could be. 9. Is that going to be the right one? I'm taking it on anyway. Okay. I had intended to drop down to no. I didn't. Oh well, never mind. But I am supposed to be facing a behemoth, which could prove bad. But is it? Oh, there you go. It is the next one anyway. So, cool. Right, slightly inconveniently, they're showing me the bloody phrasing, not the thing. But this time I'll read it as well, I suppose. Even with the power of a sea, a Kaiser Behemoth? Really? So I have the choice of being gored to death beside that pond, or wandering the wilds as an eternally damned Seath. Lovely. All those years of hard work and careful planning for this. I should have lived more for the moment. Yes, the moments. Okay, it's by the pond, so pretty much, I mean, just a sort of... If we rock a kind of northeasterly line, also avoiding the other behemoth, because we don't really want to go against more. We don't want to go against more behemoths than is entirely required. Well, okay, we might do. I was trying to check the map. It's interesting sometimes. Do you need all these fancy 3D models and graphics when sometimes you navigate exclusively by that tiny little mini-map in the corner? It would be a much duller game. I'm assuming week 2? No? Interesting. What? Have you gone wrong, Zaz? What? Why are you... It's weird. I mean, I'm perfectly willing to accept he doesn't have a blizzard spell. It seems unlikely at this late stage, but I'm willing to go with the flow and let him off, saying that he's not got a blizzard spell. But I'm fairly certain he does have the blizzard strike at his disposal. But again, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that his strikes are weaker than his spells. But I can't see why Aero is the only spell he decided to throw down there. It doesn't, truth be told, doesn't actually make any difference. But it's just one of those oddities that struck me as peculiar. Oh, I've missed him. I went too far to the northwest. Oh, can I actually get... Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Right, this is probably one of those ones where I can't get behind him properly. Nah. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I think he'd already seen me. Plus, these are marks, so you can't take them by surprise. Right, bullying time is here again. Get that haste on. Get your haste on. Do I need to... Yes, I do. Okay, let's get our hastes on. Because what we want to do is try and at least get Vanille up to Hastings. She just enjoys... She enjoys history. She enjoys history quite a lot. Right, what we'll do now is Libra that bad boy. That'll give us a little bit more details. Christ almighty. I can't deny we might need a Sentinel for this, and we don't currently have a Sentinel. Right, bully. In 1, we've got Bravery and Vigilance. In 2, we've got a Portion of Faith. In 3, we've got Bravery and Vigilance again. We were running out of prizes, so we just stuck on the same ones again. Bravery, Faith and Vigilance. Diversity. That's the nickname I've given to this beastie. His nickname is Versity, and I need him to die. Diversity. Oh, is he weak to flames? Nope. Zaz, you're going wrong, son. You're going wrong. He's weak to earth, and unfortunately we don't have any earth spells in fairness. So. Oh, he's going to rip that sword. That's the first time. It's the first time we've seen it really clearly. Fogger? Oh, fucker. He may have fucked me with a fogger. No, he's definitely fucked me with a fogger. He has fucked me right up. He's weak to snazzy gun moves. That is lucky, because if he's not weak to anything else, I am screwed. We ain't going down. I mean, we are going down. That's half the problem, mate. I really need that status ailment to clear, please. And if he uses fogger again, oh, okay, no, he's just... Yep, no, he's just gone no. Oh, Lux. So I suppose arguably, again, it tells you more about me than it does about the game, but I genuinely thought he went fucks. As in he was, you know, it'd just been sort of slammed in half with a sunder, and he just, oh, fuck's sake. But there you go. So, I do have a slightly alternate plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but it is a slightly alternate plan. Arguably, I think maybe if this fails again, I might have to go for Sentinel. That's a go for Sentinel. Bring in the Sentinel. Which, in fairness, I used this party last week, so switching up a party at this stage is not going to be too much trouble. But I don't know. I now almost feel attached to Zaz, Lightning, and Vanille sort of dealing with this creature because they need redemption. It's a stupid way of playing the game, isn't it, really? You force a team who's clearly ill-equipped to beat the monster. They've shown they're ill-equipped to beat this monster. And you want them to keep trying for the sake of redemption. You are an idiot. Yep. Oh, did Lightning die? No. Okay. One quick thing. Did I... No, I never actually officially Libra-ed it. So what we'll do is we'll officially Libra it. That still leaves me with a few points, which is key to the plan. Just got to sort of eventually... Ow. If you wouldn't mind, Vanille. If you wouldn't mind, thank you. Now, bullying... Right, let's see. Once he... Yeah, of course, he's regened everything. Does he actually change anything? No. He just gets all of his points back. So he has... Yes, once again, foggered. So... Summon Brunhilde! Come on! Shoot that bad boy and get me my go-kart. I mean, my mighty warrior woman. First it's a warrior woman, then it's a go-kart. Which is one of the weirder things I've ever said. Oh, right, auto support. No, we don't really want him to be supporting, do we? He might as well pop over to our... I don't know how much sort of... Oh, Curiga, cool. I think most of them have some level of healing, but I wasn't sure about Brunhilde because quite clearly she is vastly more... She's vastly more built for... Oh dear. It's a struggling. It's struggling with Brunhilde on the field. She's just too big and powerful. Sundering. If you wouldn't mind, Brunhilde. 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 Thank you, Brunhilde. Thank you very much. What I really need is one of these to actually sort of... Okay, I think it's time to Gestalt. I want to ride my go-kart. I want to ride it well. I want to ride my go-kart. That's right. Down to the supermarket. Adolon, start your engines. I'm slightly... Oh, chopper spin! Get your choppers out. If you've got choppers, get your choppers out for the sake of the chopper spin. Get that done. Centrifugal sweep. Go on, why not? A little bit of that. A little bit of spark shower. Yeah, why not? Go on, way. Oh, there you go. There's some choppers in the chat. And we will do the chopper spin again. But probably the others are potentially slightly better. Whoops. Yep, spark shower. Go for it. Chopper. Choppers. Oh, I see. The chopper actually does something even more intriguing and interesting there, doesn't it? It fires a bunch of other things. Right. Moosespell flame. The flame of the Moosespell. Go. Rev that engine. Rev that bad boy. Yeah. Flaming tornado. I must admit, the coat in that bit where he was dropping, that coat looked so well animated. It was genuinely gorgeous. I like how it seems to just be spinning, watching you spin around in a car. Yeah, it is. Oh, you little shitting shitter. No, Zaz. What you mean to say is, fuck's sake. We did all that for very little. And thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's been a while since someone's followed whilst I've been doing the Final Fantasy one. So I looked over and saw the thing that I put in it, the thing that I built into it, all the little sort of purple Twitch emotes like launching up there, and I was like, oh, look what it does. You built it, you prick. Sorry. It slightly broke me there because it's like, you know what it does. You put it together. yeah, it's like, oh my god, look at the little fountain of emotes. It's so good. So thank you, John Cregan, for the follow. I very much appreciate that, and I hope you find entertainment in this nonsense. But yes, you have harpooned yourself a brand new streamer. I'm still workshopping the sort of phrasing of everything. So despite having been doing it a year, I'm still workshopping it all. But yeah, I suppose you've harpooned your way into following a streamer. That seems like a tolerable one. Anyway, now I've laughed quite a bit. I need to drink, and then I need to sort out what the hell I'm going to do against this arse clown. I think ultimately I need... No, not generate. Battle team. Battle team. There we go. Battle team. Marvellous. Righty-tighty. So, I am thinking... I think it's going to have to be lightning that gets traded. Key question is it going to be lightning or... no, it is going to be lightning. Lightning's getting traded. That is a fact. Is it, however, going to be snow or fang? difficult to say. Difficult to say. Oh, is it Live and Let's Dice? I wasn't sure. I recognise the name from somewhere. It's just I've been in a couple of the old Discords, so I wasn't quite 100% spot on which one it would have been. But yes, welcome from Live and Let's Dice. We don't do much in the way of board games here. It's a good start. No, I used to do more board gamey bits, and I do plan on perhaps bringing it back. But nonetheless, we don't do much board games at the moment. But we do a lot of Final Fantasy and and there'll be plenty more RPGs here because I love an RPG. I love a little RPG. A rocket-propelled grenade. I feel like, yeah, I think Fang's going to be the better choice. I think. I mean, technically Snow can do the commando. But yeah, I'm going to go with Fang. We'll just make a decision. Relentless Assault. Start it active immediately. Now, protection. No, what we want to do is you be commando, you be saboteur. So we do want bully. I suppose arguably it might be easy to start, but no, because I'll probably use this team more than once. So we'll set them up as I would want them set up in the future. Diversity. Yes. What else do we want? I suppose pop bully up there. Pop a bit of bully up there. I suppose arguably let's have her as a saboteur for a little bit, in some fashion at least. And then probably the lower one will want her as a sentinel again. We've already got medic sentinel. Let's have a think about what we can do there. Saboteur. What do you have? I mean, double saboteur seems excessive. Scouting party. I might not use it, but it seems tolerable to have. Dirty fighting. Maybe premeditation. So we've got a bit more of a distraction. So arguably, maybe I should have that just instead of bully. Good God. I do not know. Now I'll leave it there for now. They will suffice. Now let's just... do I want to be someone else rather than being Zaz? If I just change internally, it won't make much difference. But I'm just thinking it might... If I use the same tactic again, which I realise is a sign of madness because clearly it didn't work. So using the same tactic a second time is potentially still not going to work. But at least this time, instead of seeing Brunhilde, we will wind up seeing Bahamut. So I should have perhaps left that as a surprise. I should have perhaps gone... we'll leave it as a little surprise, but I've spoiled it now. It's Bahamut. It's the mighty dragon Bahamut. Let's get back to diversity for a moment or two, just to top off Fang's health bar, ideally. And then top it off again, because of course, the moment I say I'm going to top it off, he decides to hit me. Ideally, just get a little bit more of the buffs before dropping back to diversity. This is the secret of this battle system, really. It's having to accept the fact that you are going to be flitting between paradigms just constantly. Just absolutely constantly. Unfathomable volume of flitting around. It's lucky it's quite quick, because otherwise you would get very annoyed very quickly, wouldn't you? Right, let's go back to Relentless Assault a little bit. We might be able to get a little bit of work on that bar, although I've got a feeling when it transforms, it does carry over the stagger meter. It doesn't completely remove the stagger meter as well. But I might be mistaken. It definitely heals, which is a pain in the arse. No, the stagger meter does remain. Right, so one thing I forgot was the Libra. So we'll deal with the Libra. And now we will also deal with the summon before Zaz dies, please. Thank you. Often one of the strongest and best summons in the game is Bahamut. Not necessarily so much here. But he is kind of awesome looking. Turns into a... I'll leave that bit as a surprise. I keep spoiling it. What what Bahamut turns into, I will leave as a surprise. For anybody who's unaware, I suppose. It's not going to be a surprise if you know exactly what it is. Thank you for the Curaga, Bahamut, thank you. But it is, I find his legs a bit thin. Like a lot of the other parts of his design. I like it, the upper body. Fuck off, game! I think we may have hit a stumbling block. Ooh! What the... Look, oh, because I was in... I suppose, yeah, I was in... yeah, he can cast a rise. So I was so expecting a game over, it broke me. It broke my brain for a moment. I was just like... What happened? I do not understand. Doth not compute. I should have done a better Sentinel setup. That's what I should have done. Also, should have not changed from Solidarity. So yeah, we're going to have to do some very quick shifts, I think, because what I needed was, I think I needed a Sentinel Commando Ravager combo. That's what I should have bought out. But unfortunately, I didn't. So shit. Shit on it. Shit on it. Dispel. Oh, you little prick. Fogger. Oh, you doubly little prick. Ugh. What is... that's banning spells. So Medicard. Yes. Medicard. If you say it loudly enough and with enough sort of stupidity, it works better. Okay, I have to figure out how to get Vanille back from the dead. I'm not going to be able to do that with TP, so it's going to have to be a Phoenix down, I fear. I mean, basically, this battle is so hard that it's... What have we learnt? We've learnt that Zaz, upon death, says, fuck's sake. And Fang, upon death, says, you cunt. Because... Yeah. Oh, is it worthwhile trying again? Okay, so instead of no, we'll keep premeditation, but what we'll do is Sentinel Commando Ravager. So we've got that available. Delta attack. Blarg. I'll give it one more go. I'll tell you what we'll do first as well. I've not got a huge amount of Crystarian points, but we will give ourselves the best possible chance, perhaps, by hopefully, no guarantees, because these are getting very expensive to get round, and sometimes they are absolutely pointless and useless. That's a shame. Didn't really get much out of that. I could possibly... One strategy I might have to consider is I might have to consider the idea of, if I start popping them off into their unlearnt roles, so for someone like Vanille, unlevelled roles are Commando, Sentinel, etc, etc. If I start learning from those, I think, I cannot remember this, so I might be proven wrong, but I think it's cheaper to go round the lowest level of the sort of trees. And as such, I might be able to get more stats far swifter. But no guarantees on that one. No guarantees at all. Commando for you. But we will just try and sort of gain the level as a commando. Good. And I think if we can get there, that is everything. Yeah, that is her Commando level 4 maximum. So for now, I think Ravager's probably your best second bet. I might try and get you into something new in the not too distant future, but just grab a few stats for now, and then the boy. I'll not worry too much about the boy. Right. Synergist. Synergist is your primary. So I think that's where we shall focus. Focus our efforts. So what I'm thinking I might do... Yeah. I might swap those two. I don't... Oh, it does. Okay. fine. So Solidarity, no. What we want first is Commando, Ravager, and Medic. Is that going to be the best one? I think maybe Snow might prove to be the better Ravager in this situation. Commando. It'll be the better Commando in this situation. Despite not necessarily being the best Commando. Commando, whoops, Synergist and Saboteur. That's exactly what I wanted. And now this one, Sentinel, Commando, and Ravager. And then Protection. Protection might not go amiss. I've got the key ones I wanted, but the crucial detail here. Well, I'm just going to pop to that save point since I've done the Crystarium, and I'm not sure. I've got a nasty feeling that where it will end up dropping me back is prior to me having done all that Crystarium fiddling. So I don't really want to lose all of my Crystarium fiddlings. So I figured I'll play it safe and drop down. But we'll give it one more go with the slightly higher stats. And by slightly, I do mean slightly. Emphatically mean slightly. Right, bully. Get some bully going on. Everybody loves a bit of bully in their life. Everybody loves a bit of bully. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't actually defeated a normal Behemoth, so why I keep trying against a Kaiser Behemoth, I do not know, but still, I'm a glutton for punishment, and we might as well give it another go. Give it one more chance to not be a dick. I realise technically it's not the game being a dick. It's just I'm slightly ill-prepared for this fight, I fear. But I'm trying. I am technically now, of course, because Snow has his 5 ATB segments, I am sort of putting my best foot forward. Because I believe, apart from Lightning instead of Vanille, both Snow and Zaz have their 5 ATB segments, which should prove a little bit helpful. What won't prove helpful is not Libering it, but unfortunately the problem I've got is because I keep Libering it in other battles, I keep forgetting to do it every time I have to restart the sodding thing. But that's just, there you go. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you gotta live with your limitations. There's a little song about your limitations there. Very little, yes. Well, that's one of my limitations, isn't it? There you go. That was almost a proper joke. Very almost. It was a good swing, but didn't quite match up. Right, okay, so the biggest issue we've got with him foggering us. Oh, good. He actually has not managed to fogger Vanille. Unfortunately, Vanille still can't quite keep up with the requirements of the healing, which is a problem. See my point about not being able to keep up? We'll use a Phoenix down because it still allows me just about. Oh, Christ. I don't know whether I want to try and get into Sentinel again. Problem is, of course, I'm the Sentinel, which is always an issue. Right, what we'll just try and do is a series of Steel Guards for now, until... Oh, okay, that's problematic. Yeah, okay, that one will do for now. Ow, please stop hitting me. Stop hitting me. Entrench. Go for Entrench for a bit. Because he seems fairly adamant in hitting me, but while I'm low health, I don't necessarily want to challenge him. Because it's all well and good being the Sentinel that needs to take the hits, but if you're low health Sentinel, you're not going to be able to take the hits. So, yeah, you just have to sometimes hope for the best and not worry too much. Right, now we'll challenge it. Go! The other benefit of summoning is it basically nullifies whatever state your health bar's in, I think. If memory serves, from the other 2 battles, no matter how low our health bar is, when we come back from the summon, we'll have max health. Which hopefully will aid me. Now the fact that we've got 2 Shiva Sisters, with a bit of luck, will mean that one of them can heal me and one of them can attack it while I'm attacking it. So basically, I think we might be quids in here. Don't even necessarily feel like I need the bike, but I don't need the bike, I've just won. There you go. You want a job doing? Bring Snow. Best character in the game. Yes, he is. And note that we didn't have Snow the first time we tried it. We lost. We didn't have Snow the second time we tried it. We lost. We had Snow the third time we tried it. Easy peasy. Which is... I do loathe that about this battle system sometimes. Because some battles, piece of piss. Other battles, the same battles, absolute obliteration. But nonetheless, we managed to just about get by. I think it's because he, to a certain extent, he didn't do some of his big nasty attacks. And Snow, I think, is just... he's just so much chunkier than any other character. Even Fang, who is meant to be a sentinel, I don't think quite lives up to the chunkiness of Snow's health bar and general defense. I might be wrong. Tell you what, I'm curious now, so I'm going to try and see if I can track down their official stats. That way I might be able to tell. Health is relatively easy to find out, and I'm fairly certain Snow has way more health than... no, not way more, but 700. And I think to a certain extent 700's a fairly hefty volume. Right, do we have your actual stats of, like, if, like, you know, thing is status? That would be the fucking thing I'm looking for. Do you actually have a defense statistic? I don't know. I'm not seeing one. Do feel free if you do spot it on the screen. Do feel free to shout. But at the moment, I'm just seeing strength and magic, CP crystal points, HP hit points, ATB level 5. Commando, Ravager, Sentinel. He's got the improved ward, which may have helped. May have helped kept everybody else alive. I don't... yeah, because wards, if memory serves, is Fringe Ward and sort of Death Ward and stuff. And I think Fringe Ward is the one that allows him to sort of shield other people just by being there. So that's probably helped somewhat. But yeah, as I say, I don't think there's an official sort of defense statistic. But I suppose arguably, if we look at that, 521 versus 521 280, 346 235. So that's the difference. That's the difference between Snow and Fang. Fang biases more hitting things with a fair amount of defense compared to Snow, who is super defensive but can hit things. You know, if he chooses to, he can hit things. So that's partially to do with their weapon choices, but also quite a lot to do with their general base stats, I think. Right, okay, so let's go for the sort of southeasterly direction, which should be that little... I'm assuming it's a pond? Yeah, if we sort of line up a little bit more like that, we're going to have to go through... well, I say, that's an entire lie. We don't have to go through these two again, but I'm going to go through these two again. It's easier to go through most enemies than round them to a certain extent, especially like something like these Gorgonopsids. They are... nowadays, they're an absolute piece of piss. When we first got here, they could provide an element of trouble. So it does sort of... it does make you feel like you're progressing in the game, doesn't it, really? When, you know... When we first got into this area here, it was like, oh dear, we best be wary of this Gorgonopsid. It's doing quite a lot of damage to me. But nowadays, it's like, nah, piece of piss, mate, piece of piss. Dude, couldn't have said it better myself. And if I had, it would have made for better commentary. But I didn't, so there you go. Right, so I think it's the one right in front of my face, or is that... no, I think it is. It is the one in front of my face. I'll tell you what we'll do. Cheeky little slime bash. Don't know if we really need to know anything about your cheeky little slime bash. Nobody needs to know about your cheeky little slime bash. Oh dear, no. Nobody wants to hear about it. Whoops. Hadn't intended to back out of Snow's attacks. Go on, carry on. Carry on beating up slimes. Carry on beating off a slimy thing. Well, I think if it's slimy, you've probably beaten it off enough. You are disgusting, sir. Yes. I should probably be banned from life, maybe? Da 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 da. Yeah. My name's Zaz. I'm the coolest guy around. Got a bird in my hair. A weird idea. I'd love to know the thought track behind it. Yeah, we got this guy called Zaz. Yeah, we stuck a bird in his hair. The war claimed my family. The war claimed my home. This focus is my last remaining hope. I long for the release of crystal sleep. Perhaps when I wake, the world will be a better place. I should hurry and destroy the ambling bellows, raising havoc on the steppes northern high plain. Yes, I will take on this quest, for I believe it is the next one along. What they have done quite nicely, and I do appreciate this. I appreciate most of Final Fantasy, but I do appreciate this slightly more so. What I like about the way they've done it is they've done a lot of these Seath Stones in a relatively sane and reasonable order. You know, you go from one. So you go from 1 being right in front of where you spawn on the field. You then get 2 was right behind the monster you slew to finish off 1, and then 3. They're all nicely sort of leading one into another, which I appreciate as a thing and a concept, because otherwise you'd be forever wandering around. And there's an element, don't get me wrong, I know technically I critiqued it earlier for being sort of running from one end of the map to another end of the map, but there's an element of that. There's no getting around it. There is an element of that. However, running Gorgonopsids, no, they're not interested in sticking around, fine. I would have fought them if they'd bumped into me, but if they're not gonna make the effort, I don't think I will. Thanks. It's not a great way of living life, I suppose. You should try and make the effort despite others, but you know, sometimes you find yourself just going, look, if you're not going to make the effort, fucking hell, mate. Fucking hell, I'm not going to either. Let's check out this save point, and then I've got my eyes. I've got my eyes firmly set on that treasure chest over yonder. I want it in my life. Yes. Treasure. I can't do it. Oh. Yo, Big Bird. Big Bird. Big Bird? Could you fuck off? No, I don't think he wants to fuck off. I think in fairness, what they've done is they've gone, this treasure chest's nicely out in the open. Why don't you come and get the treasure chest? Hey, you want the treasure chest, don't you? Why don't you come and get the treasure chest? We put a big monster in your path. This is the big monster, interestingly enough, from the intro cutscene. Also, didn't seem to damage me that much, so it makes me think I might be able to win this, which is not so bad. Level 6. That tells me nothing, because we as as player characters, we don't have a level, so I can't compare that level against my own level. If I'd been paying a lot more attention, I could have possibly been sort of able to tell you, oh, the Gorgonopsids are classified as level 3, and so this one's probably going to be quite hardcore. But unfortunately, I've not been paying attention to the other levels, so I have no further information. So it's like, it's level 6. Is that high? Is that low? Is that in the middle? No idea. It's slightly inconvenient, but there you go. What are you going to do? Feeding Stoop. That's going to kill me. Yep. Didn't I say that? I said it was gonna kill me. Looks like I'm gonna have to start purchasing a lot more of those bloody things. And by bloody things, I mean Phoenix Downs. 'Cause I can't, no I can't, rely on Renew permanently, owing to the fact that it takes 2 TP. Oh dear, no, 2 TP. That's right, dear, 2 TP. Oh no, not the TP. I forgot to hoard it at the start of lockdown, so I don't think I can afford to use 2 TP for you. Right, 5 stars though, marvellous. Abominable Wing. So that's good information to know. We are able to take on, admittedly with casualty, We can take on Casualty when it's on Saturday evenings. I don't know if Casualty's on Saturday evenings. In fairness, I don't think Casualty's on at all anymore. I think it may have been axed. Casualty's a TV programme for anybody not in the know of TV programmes. Or at least it was once. Casualty and Holby City. No idea if they're still going or not. Not a hugely important piece of information. I was just trying to make a joke, and then I overly explained the joke, and so it became very much not a joke. Do, if in doubt, just do it out. That's right. Do. So, but yeah, anyway, the crucial piece of information I now have is I can take on a bird, but I should possibly be wary of taking on a bird, as it will potentially kill me. Or kill someone. It's unlikely to kill Snow, only because I think we can live without Vanille. Admittedly, she is the medic, so the whole living without Vanille might prove troublesome. However, you know, it might prove acceptable. Oh dear, Virulent Breath's not going to help me out too much, but I think we can win this. And you don't lose anything. You lose very little. Beware of taking on a bird. Solid life advice, yes. Very true. But yeah, you don't actually lose anything in this game. Oftentimes you don't, you know, the character won't get experience or something, and therefore it's well worth making sure they are alive at all times. So if you were wondering, that big monster there, not just set dressing, that is a big monster. You can fight that big monster. However, if I did fight that big monster, it would crush me in one turn. It would basically go, I'm going to stamp my foot, and it stamps its foot, and you go bye-bye. And then I'd probably go, oh, fuck off. Well, actually, I won't on this occasion, because I know it's going to happen. However, the first time I sort of accidentally ended up in combat with that thing, it killed me in one shot, and I just, oh, fuck off, game. Because it's so, like, I just didn't expect it. But yes, we've got goblins now. Very much the sort of green goblin style, as opposed to the sort of techie music goblins we had last week. Can't remember officially what they were called. Did we actually get the Libra? Yes, we did. Now, unfortunately, normal magic only, which to a certain extent doesn't affect Snow that much. He just looks a bit weird flexing his hand in that fashion. I think we could do with a little bit of diversity. Make sure you get your medics out. Everybody needs to see medic, because it's magnificent. Do. Come on, blimey, this thing. Yeah, Goblin A. Don't you be a goblin near my dick now. There's one of those ones. There's one of those ones where it's like, shall I say that? Shall I say that? And my brain went, no. And my mouth went, yeah, go on. Don't goblins normally have chests? I don't know. Is that a reference to something? If it is, the reference has fully sort of flown past me at great speed, and I was not able to catch it. I was not able to do the two-finger interception. That's a Fist of the North Star reference again, for those are wondering. It's one of his moves. If someone tries to shoot you and you counter-attack it, he will go two-finger interception, and he'll fling the bolt back at their face and kill them. It's quite satisfying. But these... Oh, I get what you mean. Sorry. I've just understood what you mean. It didn't affect me. The design of the monster didn't trigger understanding, but I do understand what you mean now. They've got holes where their chests should be, yes. Sorry, yes. Seems to have a massive hole where the lungs and heart should be. Yes, I was very slow on the uptake there. I apologise. I didn't get what you meant. But yeah, no, they are a weird design. There is no two ways around it. They are a peculiar design. They have essentially sort of wheeled feet for rolling around on. And then basically, yeah, it's impossible to know where their stomachs are meant to be. I mean, essentially, it looks like their stomach's where their penis should be, and then you have to ask the question, where's the penis meant to go? Where's the penis gone, sir? Probably in the hole. Where's the penis gone? It's in the hole. It's, in fairness, is where penises usually should go, with permission and consent, but nonetheless, that is technically where they're meant to go. But yeah, I think the idea is that is meant to be a mouth-ish, but then, of course, that is a mouth to nowhere. So if they do start eating things, it will just fall out the back. So they are, I mean, they are proper bizarre design. But in fairness, that's not the most bizarre. Because they actually have some element of, like, they are a beastie. They're a sort of a strange, they may be strange looking, but they are kind of quite like a monster. No problem. If I can find the other one, which I probably can in the sort of monsters companion thing. Data log, enemy intel. I mean, probably feral? I don't know. It's probably going to be a variant of that. Oh, it's the Munchkins. There we go. So the Munchkins, which is a variant, they have headphones because reasons. Yeah. So apparently Munchkins have headphones, and then Munchkin Maestro has headphones, arm doodads, and a disc. So yes, I mean, goblins in this game, goblins are just truly bizarre. But I will clarify why I didn't quite understand. The issue I had there was I didn't read chests as sort of the body part, the upper body part chests. I read it as treasure chest. Too much D&D, I think. Or not enough. One wonders. But too much fantasy RPG, I think, there. Because my brain went straight to treasure. Don't goblins normally have chests? I mean, do they? Leprechauns usually have a pot of gold, but I don't think goblins usually have chests. Not specifically, anyway. That's not one of their sort of monster traits, that they always have a treasure chest. But that is why my confusion reigned down supreme amongst all other confusions. At least it has that going for it. There you go. there's the desperate urge to win coming out, isn't it? Even when it's simply confusion, I have to have the best confusion ever. My confusion's better than your confusion, and you seemed quite confused. It's just how confused I was. More confused than you ever could be. I'm so confused. Which is interesting, actually. There is no confusion as a status element in this game. Which is unusual to a certain extent. I think Final Fantasy usually have some form of confusion, don't they? But this one, no. As far as I'm aware, at least, as far as I'm aware, they do not have any level of confusion in the status elements. Most of the status elements are fairly sort of... I mean, a lot of them are actually quite reasonable. They're not this huge issue as they've been in some games. Because some of them are like, fuck off. A lot of games I do have... a lot of games I do end up saying fuck off to them. But there you go. Again, I reiterate, it says more about me than the game, I think. But nonetheless, these status elements, truth be told... Now, granted, that Kaiser Behemoth with its... I think it was Fogger, wasn't it? That Kaiser Behemoth with its Fogger thing, that was a troublesome. Now, I've got a blooming decision to make here, and I don't know if I want to make that decision. I think we'll carry on wrapping around the path we're doing here. Maybe. Okay, so it's probably going to be impossible to get that treasure chest at the moment. So that's fine. As long as I know it's impossible to get that treasure chest, we can just ignore it. Right, shouldn't have any trouble. Because just because I'm in the perimeter of that fella doesn't mean he's going to come out and attack me. Because he's a big chunky lad, and most of the big chunky boys up top, they are sort of pacifist style. Way, we chose the right way. Is one of yes, confusion does tend to be a nasty one. So the lack of confusion in this is quite pleasant. Also, I don't think they've got... I don't think they've ever got insta-death in this one, which I appreciate. I do loathe... I do absolutely loathe an insta-kill manoeuvre. But I don't recall ever experiencing it in this. Or they limit it to very few sources, which is, again, to a certain extent appreciated. Much more appreciative if you don't have it in there at all, but it is nice to know it's not there. How do we get down there? Oh, should we just go round? That's how you get down there. So yeah, I think we're probably going to have to sort of... Charm is huge. Oh dear, okay, that's a bad news bears situation, isn't it? That's a flipping great Gorgonopsid variant versus a bloody... I mean, apparently she really doesn't want to go this way, but... Oh, no, okay, hang on. It's going to be difficult, but technically speaking... Oh, no, okay. I don't think I was in your perimeter, sir. I think you've just gotten above and beyond your station, son. Behemoth King is definitely the one we want to target. So I'm going to help out. I'm going to help out my friend, the giant nasty beastie, to eat the Behemoth King, because the Behemoth King is probably going to do what Behemoths usually do, as we've seen, which is he will just grab his blade out of his head and regen all of his entire health bar. So we definitely do not want to... we definitely don't want to sort of have that happen. Ideally, in fact... Marvellous. Right, I think... Oh no, I haven't fought one of these things. Okay, so this thing might be even nastier than the other thing. But we'll soon find out. No, I think he's alright, isn't he? He's never going to be stronger than a Behemoth, is he? Let's be honest. But yes, I suppose the crucial difference, I guess, between Confusion and Charm is, of course, the fact that Charm is a bit more of a sort of guaranteed they're going to hit your team. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Snow... I need you to not die. If you wouldn't mind, it would be appreciated. If you would be so kind not to die. I must admit, Asuna-ing the poison would have been a better choice, Vanille, but I think you were working on... I think basically Asuna removes the first status ailment in the little list. So I don't think she actually had a choice. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that she wasn't able to get rid of the poison first. But really, poison would have been the priority. But yeah, anyway, I was saying the reason why I would put forth that Charm, and this I'm probably preaching to the choir, so I apologise if this seems a little bit sort of condescending if I'm doing it, but it's just one of those things. I can't help myself. But I would put forth the reason why Charm is worse than Confusion, of course, is it's more guaranteed to hit your allies, isn't it? Because that's the point. Whereas if you can get away with Confusion, of course, oh shit, it was facing the rear. I might have been able to get the back attack on that. I'm slightly disappointed in myself there, but never mind. I have to just carry on and hope for the best. But yes, we have the Ambling Bellows. Quite another bizarre sort of piece of kit, really, isn't it? I think this thing is sort of possible. I mean, it's probably theoretically, at least, of course, it will end up being nastier. Okay, it's just straight up killed Vanille. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's definitely doing a flipping number, isn't it? Christ almighty, could you just stop punching for just a moment, maybe? If you wouldn't mind. Protection, yeah, we'll do... Whoa. Provoke, entrench, there we go. There we go, marvellous. You can take it, and you are going to take it. How about when an enemy with a lot of health charms a character capable of doing a full heal? That's the time when you put the game away. That's what I think of that. I mean, I'd probably get the game out again, but there are certain occasions where sometimes it really is just like, and no, you're going away, because sometimes they just, it's like fuck off, and you actually physically make it fuck off by turning it off. I had that. Oh no, tell her like I almost had that in the tail end of like Yakuza Like a Dragon. So I won't go into details in case people haven't played it. But the very tail end, there's a boss in that has an insta-kill attack. But the problem is, prior to fighting the boss, there was no real indication that he had an insta-kill attack. And so when he hit me with the insta-kill attack, I'd been in that battle maybe 30, 45 minutes. Because they put forth chunky fucking health bars in Yakuza Like a Dragon for their bosses. They can take a long time to do. And so having I need vanille. No, don't challenge it. Medigard. Provoke Medigard. Just get the Medigard on. I need the Medigard. Right, okay, now we can calm down a little bit more because Snow's been healed. And now we'll challenge it once again. And then what we'll do is we'll just stick with the Medigard, I think, for now. Stick with the Medigard. I think Sentinel is proving extremely pertinent here. But yeah, I was very close to the end of the battle in this boss fight. And it was going tolerably well. I wasn't doing spectacularly well, but it was going okay. And then, yeah, he just... And the problem with Yakuza is the same problem this game has, but slightly less justifiable, and it's the same problem Persona 5 has. When... Please don't say that, Zaz. Please don't say that. It's the same problem Persona 5 and this game has, but this game to a lesser and more understandable fashion. When the lead character dies, game over. So when I was hit by an insta-kill that just happened to work on the main character, I was irritated. Because it was very much like I'd sunk at least 30-40 minutes into this boss fight, only to have the boss fight come to an inglorious end when the game just went, yeah, I'm going to win now, thanks. Is that cool with you? I don't care if it's cool with you or not. I'm doing it. So, yeah, that was... Outside of that, I kind of don't have anything negative to say about Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's fantastic. However, that one. It's a bit like now this one was, I'm putting it away now. But I'd been sort of wandering around in Persona 5 again. Again, it's this mechanic of, well, you are now, you know, the lead has gone down. The lead has gone down, so that's it. Game over. Soz. But yeah, Persona 5, I was having a lovely little time, and the save points in Persona 5 are quite, let's say, not generous. And I just got unlucky in a fight. And seriously, genuinely, seriously, literally, genuinely, seriously, that is all it was. I got a little bit unlucky in a fight and lost sort of maybe an hour, 45 hour and a half maybe. I'm probably blocking the real time from my memory. Might be even longer than that. But yeah, just one slightly unlucky scenario and boom. Lead character goes down, game over. Back to the save point with you now, thanks. Which fuck off. And as I say, that one was a genuine sort of a cold dead glaze went across my eyes, and a cold calculated push of the PlayStation button. Just tap it up a few times, close application, and then push the older PlayStation button again down to turn off. Just all in perfect silence. And I think at that point you know I'm super angry at that point if it's perfect silence. A rage so furious that it is nothing but silence. And so yeah, it was very much like, and you're going away now. You're going away. But that's, again, that's one of the only flaws, as you say, you know. It's one of the only issues. If they, as I was discussing earlier on, the bullshit quota. And so I think that's how Persona 5 and Yakuza Like a Dragon, they very much they get away with being so good because they've put that little extra in, which is like, it's sent the bullshit manager off the charts. He's gone, oh yes please, the main character dies, the game is over. Tick 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 tick. You can get that on market immediately. You've exceeded your bullshit quota. You can make 2 exceptionally good games next because of that level of bullshit in your bullshit quota. Tell you what I discovered today as well, thinking about Yakuza, specifically Yakuza on this occasion. What I discovered today is there's a brand new Judgment game coming soon, and I am looking forward to it. That's my looking forward to it jingle. But I do like the Yakuza. I like the traditional Yakuza games, and I liked Yakuza Like a Dragon as well. And what I'm quite pleased by is what they've basically done is gone, well, we're doing something different with Yakuza in the form of Yakuza Like a Dragon. But what we've also done is we've released Judgment, and that's your good old Yakuza start. And so I'm quite pleased that there is a Yakuza, a Judgment game, another Judgment game coming out, and it looks like it'll be just as good as the first one, and the first one was bloody good. But Judgment, if you were unaware, it's very much like the traditional Yakuza games, that sort of beating up people in towns. And that's basically the gameplay of Fist of the North Star as well, if you were wondering. It's all by the same company, that Rio... I want to say Rio Gota? Something along those lines. I've got most of the correct letters, just not necessarily in all the correct orders. Which, you know, sometimes that can change words drastically, in fairness. If you get all the letters but in the wrong order. I know that from, if you've ever seen the comedian Tim Minchin. He does, is it? Yeah, yes it is Tim Minchin. He does rather an entertaining song, which is where you take a couple of G's, an N, an E, an R, and an I. And obviously at that point you're going, what are you going to say, Tim? What are you going to say? Where are you going with this, Tim? And then he goes into, only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. But it's a very clever song. Very entertaining. Cleverly done. As I say, very clever, based on the fact that your immediate reaction is like, oh. Especially because of the way he builds into the twist and reversal. It's very entertaining in general. I highly recommend going and finding Tim Minchin. Not right now. You've got at least another hour and a half's worth of duty here. But once you've put in the hours here, once you've clocked off, and yes, I am making it your new job. Your new Saturday weekend job is to sit here listening to me ramble. Oh, that's two big nasties, isn't it? That is. I don't know if I'm quite ready for 2 big nasties, but I suppose... Oh, hang on. I'll tell you what, if I'm not ready for 2 big nasties... Oh, hang on, no. Well, I'm trying... I don't think it's going to work, but I'm trying to possibly do this tactically. Tactically, indeed. Right, if we can just get them... I apologise for the state of the shadows. I have to turn them down, otherwise the game won't run smoothly, I don't think. I might be wrong, it might run smoothly, but we've seen it stuttering. We've seen it stuttering in the past, but it's only every now and again the shadows are quite that atrocious. But they are dropped down to like a setting below the default. But do you know what? Fuck them. I'll leave it. Big red thing there. Right, what you got for me? Is this number 11? Oh, okay. No, this is something completely different. It would seem. Fair enough. Oh dear. Okay, interesting. These Seathstone emanations block roads and pathways all across Grand Pulse. Complete the mission of the Seathstone near them, and they will dissipate. Be warned that the marks for these missions are formidable foes, and you need not slay them all. Should you decide to undertake one of these missions, be prepared for a grievous challenge. General Kenobi. Hello there. I mean, I'll have a go, I suppose. Oh, it is number 12, so that's not... Theoretically, that can't be that bad. I mean, granted, the Behemoth kicked the shit out of me, and then the bloody Wandering Bellows sort of punched the living Jesus out of me, but apart from that, this is number 12, therefore it can't be too unreasonable, I don't think. Although, having said that, we might be at 11, so I might have skipped one. Oh well. The undying, fearsome Sith who defy fallacy will, driven by an intense loathing of all that lives, Gai Salik. The profane is of their number, and my focus is his doom. He is said to lead a horde of Sith on the steppes western benchland. To think you would become such a Sith, Gai Salik. You, who could not harm a fly. Whatever part of you lingers in that grotesque prison of crystal and flesh must suffer. I will set you free, my friend. Go on, we'll take it on. Take on me. Take me on, take... okay, so we have confirmed I have skipped one, which might be troublesome. We may wish to... I may have to sort of... If I find the other one... That's not a shiny one, is it? No. If I do find number 11 at some point... I may have to go after number 11 first, but I suppose... Yeah, for now we'll walk the path and see where it leads me. Well, how much CP we got? A reasonable amount, but not enough for anything spectacular. I do find myself wanting to back attack these lads, but I don't think they want it. Oh, no, I think they've allowed it. They have allowed me to back attack them. That's what we... No, they have not. Okay, fair enough. I will... Yep, I'll just face them head on then. I'll just face them like a man. A man facing off against a flan. Ow, they are doing a number on me, and I was busy drinking. And I can't deny, some games you can happily do one-handed while you're drinking, and possibly one-handed while you're doing other things, but I wouldn't recommend that for most games. But this one, not quite so much, because, well, it would have been difficult to ask Snow to actually do anything. But in terms of actually sort of getting the paradigm shifted, it wouldn't have been quite so bad because it is all on the left hand. But unfortunately, I'd put the controller in an awkward position because I wasn't expecting to have to change paradigms, despite the obvious fact that this basically the entire combat system is based around you changing paradigms frequently. So who knew I'd have to change a paradigm? I do not know. Probably go back to Relentless Assault for a little bit until we get another severe beating, in which case we'll have to go back to Diversity. And I will explain for anybody new, I have an unfortunate habit of tapping the button a lot, so I don't know how much that comes out on the audio. I don't think I've ever noticed it myself, but I don't watch the entirety of my stream back. Because that would either be egotistical or tedious, one of the two, or both. Let's come back to Diversity. But yeah, I can't help myself. It feels like you need that every split second. Every split second I need to go, yes, we desperately need to get in there and start tapping. Go, go, go. It's not. Absolutely not required. It's just, I can't help myself. I suffer that problem with like fully turn-based games as well. I have a habit of rushing through choosing something, despite the fact that the entire game pauses because you're making a decision. You know, I know, like something like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII and IX, all of those with the active time battle system, you do have a certain amount of like, yes, you should probably get to step in and get to thinking and get to moving on your decision, but it's still, in games something like Grandia 2 or Shadow Hearts we've played in the past, that I still can't stop my brain from wanting to go, yes, must make a decision, quick. And it's just one of those weird ones. I can't stop from doing it. Oh, that's a monstrous flan. Was it always a monstrous flan? No. Maybe. I've never fought a monstrous flan before. Did they fuse? Am I that incapable that I didn't spot the fact that they fused? It's definitely possible. Or did one of them just start out as a monstrous flan? Because I could have sworn I actually defeated one of the flans. But as I say, the problem we've got is I am legitimately unsure. Because I am paying so little attention to this fight right now. It's like my eyes are on the fight, but my brain's checked out for a bit. So the eyes are sending the information, but the brain is just sort of sending it to the inbox without really looking, or sending it to the, I suppose technically sending it to the bin without looking. Yeah, good. That's lovely information, eyes. Bin. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from, your eyes, but I'm not really in the mood for processing all the information you're sending my way this time. Do you know how much information you've sent to me? I'm only one man's bro. Oh, Jesus, that was awful. But never mind. I mean, we won, and sometimes that's all you can hope for. All you can hope is that you actually win the fight. Let's take on these Gorgonopsids, because they're nice and easy, and that's how I like my foes. Nice and easy, that's how I like my foes. That is a reference to the horn section, and if you're wondering at this point, is everything you do a reference to something else? Yes. Yes, it is. But it's a version. It's using the basic theme, anyway, of Thick and Creamy, which is one of their dafter songs, because it's literally just the phrase, thick and creamy, that's how I like my milk. Thick and creamy, that's how I like my milk. And it's basically just that repeated a good few times. But it is an alarmingly... It's one of those little tunes that gets stuck in your brain, and I do find myself frequently sort of just interchanging different words. So, quick and easy, that's how I like my fights. Quick and easy, that's how I like my fights. Yeah, it's a very compelling song. I have used it in several different variants all the time. 3 stars, I mean, it's actually alarmingly shit volume of stars, frankly. I definitely feel I should have. So which Seath Zone are you, and how have I done you? I mean, it looks like I've done it. Yeah, slain. Oh, it was the massive. Contamination of the massive. No, I would not like to reattempt it, thank you, because that would override the mission I'm currently doing, and I might as well try and focus on the mission I'm currently doing. Just focus on one doings. That's what you want to do. I think basically follow this cliff should be fine. So go, Cliff. Where are you going to take me, Cliff? If I knew a Cliff Richard song, I'd have shoved in a reference there. So I just want you to know that, so that you can perhaps make your own. You know, basically, I'm providing you a do-it-yourself kit for the way my humour goes. So what you want to do is you want to pop out, find yourself a Cliff Richard song, and then insert that Cliff Richard song into that area there. Obviously you'll want to mute me. You want to get to the bit where I say I'm following Cliff, and then mute it, and then just say the lyrics to a Cliff Richard song, and boom, do it yourself, J Dragonfang. And if you want more do it yourself, J Dragonfang, what you will need to do is run yourself a subscription service, and in the post every month what you'll get is a box of goodies. Oh my. Oh, I think that's our target, maybe. No? No, it does look quite a lot like it's our target. But wasn't there a couple of big treasure chests? Yeah, there was a treasure chest over here. I don't... Are they bigger than the... Are they bigger than the average Gorgonospid? Maybe? Not 100% convinced. Oh, didn't get the back attack. Cool. Thanks, game. Are you a Gorgonopsid? I think you are. I think you are. Just I'm slightly concerned. No, you are a Gorgon Opsid. Superb, off you go. But yes, in your monthly subscription box, what would you get? Just a load of references to other people. That's it. That's all you get. And a list of swear words of the month. Damn it. The only other problem, I suppose, is yes, you do need the second hand for that paradigm shift, owing to the fact that you need to be able to sort of confirm, unless you need to confirm it on the A button. So every time I lean over for a drink, it's like, oh shit, I need the bloody paradigm shift. Oh, there you go. That's the other thing you get in the subscription box. You get one sheet of stupid noises that can fill silence, and over the course of multiple subscription boxes, you'll get a little Filofax type folder, and you can keep the little individual pages of strange noises in that Filofax, and then whenever you need to make a strange noise, you just flip to a random page and you just go, ah, diddly 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 doo. That's obviously on like the fourth page, the D page. Although I suppose arguably, no, that joke doesn't work. That's another thing you'll get. You'll get a host of statements that aren't actually going to work as jokes, but are there anyway. You just have to choose them as you see fit. But I was going to say, surely the D is going to be on page 3 as a reference to nudity, but page 3 was traditionally boobs, not D's. It's B's, not D's. But yeah, as I say, at that point you have to hit the abort button on the launch of the joke. You don't necessarily have to completely dismiss the joke, because you can explain why it's a shit joke, and people might laugh at the fact that it's such a shitty joke. Explain everything wrong with the joke and people might find it funny. Quite how unfunny it is. There you go. That was a combo. That was when you randomly flipped between a couple of pages of the random noise Filofax. Do people remember Filofaxes? I've still got a bunch. I've got a magic one, I think, and I think I've got the Beano one. I think I've got like... I don't think it was like actual Pogs. Well, it might have been. But it was definitely a Star Warsy one. I can't remember what that was, what that one was, but it was definitely like a Star Warsy one that were like... I'm going to say maybe they were medals? But I might be mistaken on that front. I realise at this point I am going the wrong way. I'm well aware. I'm fine with it. What I'm doing is just general exploration to see if I can find anything of interest. Because I already know where I need to go. What I want to do is try and just explore elsewhere to find out the places I don't necessarily need to go. And at that point we can have some fun. Have some fun finding chests and little treasure spheres. Because they're not technically chests in this, are they? They're tiny little treasure spheres. And you do wonder, even more so than the standard treasure chest, who is leaving these tiny spheres with items in? It's a peculiar concept. As I say, it's usually peculiar. Usually peculiar when it's like there's just a load of random treasure chests all over the place. Oh, that was very nearly death. That would have been embarrassing. Dying against a bunch of Gorgonopsids. Christ. One of the easiest foes here on this place. Well, I do get the impression... Yeah, they're level 5. I think they might be a higher standard of Gorgonopsid. But they may be the same basic type of monster, but I do feel... It feels like they're taking a bit more and dishing a lot more out to me. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure I like the fact that you buffed these beasties. Oh dear, no. I don't want to hear that you buffed your beastie. Oh no, sir. I don't want to acknowledge you buffing your beastie. 5 stars, baby, back on top. and yet amazingly it will be taken away from me almost instantaneously, I'm sure. I will go into the next fight and it'll be, nope, shit again. It's an unfortunate thing that the stars values in this are proper fucking maniac levels of variation. Right, so I mean, I could use chocobos here. I still haven't actually stumbled across a chocobo. I'm not sure. I can't quite remember how the chocobo system works in this game. Because technically, I'm thinking they must be wild chocobos here. Because they do sort of... There's nobody here. That's the crucial element. Right, big chunky lads. Oops. You turned around. You naughty boy. There you go, you turned around again, good lad. That's what we like to see. We like to see your backside. Taksim! I'm fairly certain we've seen Taksims before, yeah. Because we made the joke. The epic joke, I'd like to point out. Which is, of course... Who are you supposed to be charging this to? Taksim. That wasn't as good as the first time, I don't think. The IRS is here. Taksim. Something like that. Again, I do encourage you. Make your own jokes. They're probably going to be better. Tax him, real good. Oh, I think I was trying to work out what VAT was last week, wasn't I? Because I was suggesting tax him. Take 16.5% away from him. Because once upon a time, I'm fairly certain that was roughly VAT, 16.5%. But I very swiftly realised I have no idea if that is still VAT or not. Ow. Ow. Clobbering time. Christ. Could you not punch my boy Snow in the back? It's rude. Rudeness personified. That's right. Stop your hitting. Stop your hitting me in the back. Oh. Probably shouldn't go into an accent like that. It sounded suspiciously like it was becoming racism. It wasn't intended to, but it did feel like it was on the borderline. It was on the border. It was asking to get in, but luckily the border guard was there, going, "No, mate, no, you don't want to come in here, son. You don't want to come in here. Stay clear of this area. It's not pleasant in here. Only arseholes step into the country of racism. You want to stand firmly in the." Stand firmly in the not being racist country. Yeah. I don't know where that's going, but still. Oh, it's 20% now. I'm assuming that's to do with VAT. So, if we can do 20% of his health bar, that means we have taxed him. There you go. That's an actual moderately formed joke. Da-dee-dum-dee-doo. But yeah, that goes to show you how much attention I pay to the world, that however much it increases each time, I am 3.5% behind the entirety of the world. So, there you go. I am absolutely 100% an absolutely atrocious human being. I have no clue how to human. I am an alien and I'm trying my best, but I can't seem to human. I cannot simply human. No. That's why I go into strange voices every now and again, because it's the voice box on my alien synthesis device. My ASD, my alien synthesis device. It sometimes goes. There you go. Actual proper joke there, slightly, almost, very nearly. Tear of remorse. I know it wasn't a very good joke. I didn't, but I don't think you need to cry tears of remorse over it. I mean, pretty much for the sake of the sequel. Oops, sea doodle, son. Go on, you. No, you little prick. You're not allowed to spot me. But for the sake of the CP, I am probably going to carry on sort of beating people up. They're moderately difficult, but they're not so difficult that Let's put it this way. I don't actually have to focus and concentrate on them. But they do a little bit of damage. That's their level at this stage. They are at the level of... I can pretty much coast along without focusing on the battle. But I do sometimes have to go, we need a bit of health. And that's that. Oh, yes indeed. Just kick him up the backside. Go on, Snow. Just kick him up the backside. Go. Yeah, punch, punch. And now kick him up the backside. There you go. That'll motivate him to be a better human. To be a better human. All you need is to be kicked up the backside. Oh yeah, kick him up the backside. Then he'll be much better. Kick him up. Oh, there we go again. Time to... Oh no, this one's very much kicking him in the nuts. Because he's facing the... we'll go with the phrase the other way, because it's not necessarily he's facing the wrong way. Although, it depends if he wants to be kicked in the nuts or not. If he doesn't want to be kicked in the nuts, he's definitely facing the wrong way. You gotta wait three months of subscription to find those in your subscription box, because that's a little bit from the B's, bloodly duddly D, and a little bit from the D's. You got bloody from the B's and diddly dudley D from the D section. There's probably a lot more in the D section. I think the D section's at least a couple of boxes worth of notes for random words. Is it worth going down there? Oh, well, yeah, probably, because that's where the target is. Well, having said that, I think... Yeah, I feel like this is... Oh, no. Oh, okay. This is ominous. You throw down a cutscene, you know this monster's going to be bad news. Jesus. It's horrendous looking, isn't it? Adrian. Sorry. I think I've just thoroughly insulted Sylvester Stallone there. By utilising the phrase, it's horrendous looking, and then going, Adrian! But never mind. It's done now. Right, I think we definitely need bullying first, because we need as much health as we can get our hands on. There's every possibility. He didn't, but it was distinctly plausible that he could have killed me in one shot. He did not. Okay, we've got... Basically, magic is our dish of the day. That is the wrong one. Diversity is the one I needed. Please don't hit me again. At least let her cure us first. It's rude. What you got to do is you got to let us cure first. Then you can hit us again. He's got a very small stagger bar. Very small stagger bar. Very small stagger bar. Unfortunately, he's also attacking us while staggered, so it's not... Oh no, there we go. He knocked him on his ass. Kick him in the dick. Kick him in the dick, son. Kick him in the dick right now. Kick him in the dick. Kick him in the dick. Kick him in... Oh, murderous might. That doesn't sound good. But I'm thinking that's buffage. Oh no. Well, I think he may have adjusted his fuck. His what? His fuck. Renew might not have been the best of ideas here, but... Well, it's the best one I've got at the moment. Come on, Vanille. We need you to heal a bit better. I think I might be a little bit too outmatched here, which is inconvenient to say the least. But I might. I don't know. No, I think this is probably death, Kupo. Oh yeah, no, that's death, Kupo. That is absolute 100% death, Kupo. Not yet. I mean, it's going to take a moment to load in the retry screen, but it is death. It is death. No, it is very much death. Yeah, that felt overwhelming amount of damage. The Kaiser Behemoth felt sort of doable, which is why I kept trying it. This guy, not so much. So I think what we might try and do is track down... Ideally, what I want to try and do is track down number 11. Number 11 is going to be the sort of next one I'm supposed to be doing, but... Can't deny, I might pop down, do a little bit of storyline. I feel like it might be worth something to just have a poodle on down, because I know there's definitely an extra scene that will play out before we sort of leave, and I can't quite remember, but I've got a feeling this game does rather do sort of what I would classify as the right thing, which is when you're about to leave this area and cannot come back until you've finished everything else, it will give you a little warning. It'll give you a little bit of a text box that will go, you're about to enter an area and you will not be able to return to this area. Please make sure you've done everything you wish to do here before leaving. And you can either go, oh no, I want to do some more please, or you can go, no, I'm bored of this area now, please leave me alone, I want to move on. So if I stumble across that, that'll be very useful because it will give me information. But as I say, I'm fairly certain there is one crucial thing missing from our team at this point, and that is, guess who has, what does Snow have? Snow has the Shiva Eidolon. What does Zaz have? He has Brunhilde Eidolon. What does Hope have? He has Alexander. What does Lightning have? She has Odin. What does Fang have? She has Bahamut. Are there any other characters I've missed? Apart from the one obvious one I'm trying to miss. No, I think I've covered them all. What does Vanille have? She doesn't. So before we move on proper, I think, I might be mistaken, but I'm fairly confident before we move on to the next sort of primary chapter story segments, we will end up getting our hands upon Vanille's Eidolon. Figured I'd make you wonder precisely where I was going with that sentence. Should have been obvious, but figured I'd weed out the lewd, crude-minded people, because if I put a pause after I'm going after Vanille's and you filthily went somewhere, that's on you. That's on you. And you have to live with that knowledge now. You have to live with that knowledge. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 da. Their faces are, yeah. La da. The fact that they've got an open mouth makes me chuckle. Permanently open mouth in fairness as well, because they are sort of... These Seath, if you were unaware, this Taksim is a Seath. And if you've not been following, Seath are individuals who failed their focus. And their sort of evolution has gone so far that they've turned into big beasties. The little waystones we're doing, they are also Seath, but I'm under the impression that is Seath who failed their focus but haven't quite gotten to the monster stage yet, which is why we can complete their focus for them. And basically, I mean, I suppose it doesn't really improve their lot. I guess it just stops them becoming monsters eventually. So we're very much at the moment just sort of... We're not really getting anything productive done. We're just sort of helping people out in the sense that we're not doing anything for them. We're just sort of hoping that maybe eventually we might have something useful done. Is that something I can actually get? It's too sort of in the pond. No, it's not. Cool. Well, that shows me, doesn't it? That's why I left it the first time, because I thought it was in the middle of the pond, and I didn't think anything I had my hands on at the moment could get there. I just loosely assumed it was going to be Chocobo based, but it wasn't. Right, so yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll carry on this path and just wander down. We'll wander down and round. What are we doing for CP? 44 grand, that's not bad. Once we get to the save point, I might pop in and deal with those. I'm not going to deal with that behemoth, because I don't really want to. Oh, I might have to. No, alright. I just skirted a little bit too close to his territory, and he got a little touchy. He doesn't like interlopers. No, sorry. Right, I think we can either skip this battle, but really, I don't... Big chunky grey boy is not that difficult, and as long as we get the same sort of stagger and decimation on the Behemoth King... Oh, interesting, we've never scanned a Behemoth King. Okay, probably a bit of a waste of time, but I would like one, so I might as well do it now. Now is going to be one of the better times to do it, but with every moment wasted in this battle, the Behemoth King is potentially going to get closer and closer to just going, yeah, I'm fine. I've just replenished my health bar and gotten even stronger and badasser. So you do kind of... It's risky leaving anything to chance with the Behemoth. They are a nuisance. There we go. Marvellous, that's done. Which means this should be pretty much a piece of piss. Can you truly harvest a piece of piss? I don't know. I suppose if you froze it, and then you just took a small slice and kept it chilled, then it would be in fact a piece of piss that you could keep. I don't think you would want that. You certainly wouldn't want to use the fridge for your foodstuffs if you've got a chilled out slice of piss within. No, you want a special fridge for your slice of frozen piss. Chilled piss, technically, if you're keeping it in the freezer, in the fridge. And everybody needs a bit of chilled piss. Sometimes in life you need a chilled piss. Just a relaxing time. Yep. It's not Netflix and chill, it's chill and a piss. Gonna have a chill and a piss, a chill and a piss, a piss and a chill. Oh, here we go. I think we've actually got official story. This might actually be what I'm thinking of. Is there? I think you seem to animate funnily there. Was that it? I went for the old cutscene drinky. Expecting a bit more than there's a way through here. Because I knew there was a way through here. Do you know how I knew there was a way through here? The map told me. Unbelievable. What, yeah. You do question, what was the point of that cutscene? There's a way through here. Oh shit. If you hadn't done the cutscene, I'd have gotten through that way a little bit quicker. I mean, I love your Final Fantasy XIII. I do. Deep down I do. But sometimes you've got questionable decisions. I mean, that's alright, isn't it? Oh, no, okay. Once again, I will refer you to the map screen. Because he said this does not look okay, or something along those lines, didn't he? I said it was fine. I've just discovered it's called the Maw of the Abyss. And maw, not a great word. Usually a mouth of some kind. And you don't really want to be stood in a mouth. And abyss, traditionally, quite a negative word. Oh, this does not bode well, that's what he said. Again, I refer you to the ears and eyes relayed the information, but the brain just put up a sign that said, out for lunch. Unfortunately, the brain put that sign up about 20 years ago and is yet to return. One day we hope that the brain will return to the office, but I think it might be almost akin to the old, I'm just going to pop out for some cigarettes, and Daddy never came home. This is very much... Oh, let's scan these hoplites. The brain said it was going out for some cigarettes and never returned. These are quite nice, actually, these little robo creatures. They're one of the nicer sort of... yeah. And to a certain extent, what I quite like in them, and I suppose arguably this goes for most robots, but they look like the sort of 3D model I could build. And I like that. I know it's a little bit self-centered, that sentiment. I like your monster design because it looks like the sort of thing I could build in a 3D software. But genuinely, I do quite like the fact that I'm looking at that monster going, there's nothing in that monster that I don't think I could potentially build in Blender. Because a lot of it's hard surface, isn't it? And I am not unreasonable at hard surface modelling. If you are unaware, it's fairly self-explanatory, so I don't need to necessarily go into too much details, but there are two, at least, possibly more. Two sort of primary 3D modelling techniques, if you were unaware. Soft surface modelling and hard surface modelling. Something like that robot, I think, would be classified as hard surface, because all the surfaces are hard. A car's hard surface, desk, barrel, anything like that. Whereas someone like Snow, he would be a soft surface model. Despite how hard he looks, he is a soft body, because he moves like a human and stretches. That's basically... Oh, we've got the Horticlaire. I want to say that's her medic one, which means she's never using it, but nonetheless, I'm just seeing if my... Oh no, Lifesaver was medic, so this definitely isn't. Staggerlock. Okay, so it's more her Ravager one. No, it's the shit one. I stand entirely corrected. The Horticlaire is the shit one. I think we discussed Staggerlock last week, and it's one of those ones where I do not understand why you would ever want that, because you need that stagger meter. It's how you beat almost everything. So why you would want to turn it off is like fucking... I suppose it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Go on, turn around, mate. Your friend just turned around. Go on, you can too. If you believe you can turn around. Damn it. I think they're just synced in such an irritating fashion that one of them is always facing me. Which is not a problem, as it turns out. Not a problem. I think they must have quite a thin line of sight. Which is beneficial to me, because of course it means I can get the back attack, and back attacks do win prizes. Whee! Nice one. Nice one, Zaz. Almost forgot your name, but very good. He managed to get the second stagger. And yeah, it's rare. You can... Yeah, I say it's rare. You can usually get sort of 2 staggers from a back attack. But any more than that, and you do have to do a lot of diddling. A lot of diddling around trying to really... Oopsie doodles. Right, that might actually work in my favour, because those two might turn around at the same time. Which they didn't. But that guy did. Hey, there we go. Good. Another back attack. Yeah, we just did a back attack again. With a bit of luck, what I'm going to do, just to make... Oh, he hasn't got it! He hasn't got it! Well, shit. Well, that ruin was pointless. No, what I wanted him to do, if you may be aware if you've played the game before, if you've seen this before, what I wanted him to do was a blitz. Because blitzing, if you can get the blitz in and do the blitz to the foes whilst they've got the high stagger meter, you can pause it. Well, not pause it, but slow it down from being lost. For anybody new, I will just explain the stagger meter again briefly. What you do is Ravagers, basically the idea is Ravagers with their spells, they op that meter very, very quickly. As you can see, it's rising quite quickly with the Ravagers, but a Ravager alone, and it will drop very swiftly. However, what a Commando does, as you can see, it only rises a tiny bit when Snow's punching him. And so what they do is they slow it down from sort of being lost. So Ravagers punch it up really high, and then it can be lost really quickly. Commandos punch it up very, very, very small amounts, but it sinks back down much slower, which is why Relentless Assault is your best group paradigm, because what you have is the Ravagers go stagger, 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 and the Commando goes slow that down. Ravagers stagger, 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 Commando slow that down, and then you usually get your stagger meter in. And the reason why Blitz is quite good in a back attack is because you can slow down multiple stagger meters, which can, on some occasions at least, allow for you to get multiple staggers off in the sort of one back attack, which is useful. Oh, here's the lesser bellows, because I don't think it'll be quite as hardcore as the marked bellows, because it's just a generic. But I don't know. I had a feeling. Because the bellows was looking at me. There was no way I was getting the back attack, which is fine. We'll tackle the hoplites first, because they're not... I don't know if you spotted one of them was trying to do a system upgrade, and I can't quite remember. That might have just been a series of buffs, or it might be a full-on transformation, perhaps, but at the moment, certainly, oh, version upgrade, there we go. I think that's going to be a buff. Maybe? Oh, yes, no, there you go. It is, in fact, all of the buffs. Every buff you can muster goes into the big beat. Oh, shit, where the fucking... Oh, I remember what the boxed phalanx does now. Oh, Billy fucking bullshit. We may have to start this again. Oh dear, we've lost Vanille. Renew. Okay, get Renew. Get Libra on the boxed phalanx. Right, yes. Fairly standard machines. Weakness, electricity. But yeah, I've got to focus on the boxed phalanx after all, because I think, if memory serves, that's why I'm being swarmed with hoplites. The boxed phalanx can summon hoplites, which is why you have to deal with it first. You big old tit. It's the best insult I've got at the moment. I'm dealing with a boxed phalanx. I'm dealing with a box of wankers. A big old box of wankers. God damn it. All of my Phoenix Downs are apparently going into this fight. I'm beginning to think maybe it would be better to just start again. Just accept death. But the problem with... Oh, fuck me, Vanille. I mean, chance would be a fine thing. But no. Just stop dying. I haven't got the... We're retrying the battle. This time, we're focusing on the boxed phalanx first. And... post-boxed phalanx will deal with the hoplites. Hopefully, nobody will die, and I'm fairly certain... I mean, we said restart, so yeah, my Phoenix Downs are back. Because otherwise it would be a terrible waste of a shitload of Phoenix Downs, and then I'd need to find a load of money and buy a load more Phoenix Downs. Yeah, as I suspected again. Because the box phalanx is... I mean, he really is just an absolute box of wanks. Which is... Oh, we want to lever the box of wanks, so that we know all of the box of wanks' weaknesses, so that we can then take advantage of them. And hopefully this time we can deal with him before he starts summoning his friends. Issue orders. Yes, so he's kind of irritating little bugger, really. Version upgrade, problematic, diversity, get some health up going. What we might try and do is get Vanille's health up and now Bully so that we can have some buffs. I don't know what Vanille's going to buy us. I'm assuming she's probably going to buy us debuffing. Oh no, she is dispelling. Oh good. Fucking Vanille! Fucking Vanille, please! Do something better than dying all of the time. Dear God. I need you to survive a little longer than 5 seconds. I think Vanille is pretty much going to have to be permanently medic here, which is problematic. Oh, oh, it's one of their perfect battles, isn't it? It's one of their beautiful, perfect battles. You focus on the boxed wanker, and your people die. You focus on the hoplites, and the boxed wanker summons more hoplites. Sometimes they really do like to irritate the shit out of me. And if they did that, I would be annoyed more than usual, cause obviously I need the shit inside me, cause if the shit is out... Fucking Vanille! So much for saving the pissing Phoenix Downs. I think I've used more. This fight is proving annoying if it wasn't obvious. Try and get some of that dispelled off of the little pricks. I'm not sure if both of them. Let's just double check. Yeah, both of them have got maximum buffs. So hopefully, without the issuing orders, the hoplites I don't think are going to be quite as irritating. Although I've just taken all that effort to remove your buffs and your system upgrading the buffs straight back on yourself. Sometimes I'm not entirely unconvinced the game doesn't know that it's annoying me and doubles down on the irritation factor. God, I hate you. I hate you so much. No, it's not that bad. It's just, ugh. Arguably a sub-boss that I wasn't fully prepared for. That's the crucial element. I was very much sort of not 100% on board with it because I wasn't aware it was going to be quite so irritating.
Yep. I bet it's off digging more tunnels right now.
Oh, good. As long as we don't have to fight it. Oh, let me guess. We have to fight it at some point.
It's like they just plow through without caring what happens around them.
That's true. Then again, we were able to build our village on land cleared by Falsey. We lived alongside them, just like you do on Cocoon.
Oh yeah, this is just like Cocoon.
In a world this big, who knows what we'll find?
Oh, here we go. The Mahabra Subterra Grand Pulse. I feel like I now might be going too far along the story, but still. Hopefully, we might find there'll be a teleportation cease. And then we might be able to get back to where we were going, but... Also, there is a secondary path off there, which makes me want to sort of... I do rather find myself wanting to go explore the secondary path, find out what's down there. It might be that target I was after. Not the target, the mission I haven't done. So basically, mission number 11. Right, let's go to the Crystarium, because we do have 62,500 points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of points. Right, let's finish off your Sentinel. Or at least try to finish off your Sentinel. No guarantees I actually finish it off, but you know, we might as well have a go. Which is kind of the goal. Basically, the goal I've got at the moment is going to be finish off his currently sort of worked on roles. So Commando, Ravager, Sentinel. And then move on to potentially, and probably, I think, it is a probable rather than a maybe. We'll move on to... Ah, there's his Blitz. Can we get there? Yes, we can. Good lad. You've now got Blitz available. Very pleasing. Superb. Power Chain and Blindside up there. But yeah, we'll then start moving into, you know, other roles that they've not dealt with in the past. So here, I think we've just got magic and roll level, and then his synergism. Maybe don't use the phrase synergism. Ravager next, I think, for you. Because I do tend to use you, yeah, bias towards magic, so better to use Zaz as a Ravager. Although, having said that, sometimes I use him as a commando. It depends on the party makeup. Fear Siphon. What the world do you do? Slightly charge ATB gauge upon attacking staggered target. Nice. Appreciate that. Anything to raise the ATB is quite good, really. Two raise around that one. Medic, please. Yes, indeed. If we... Oh, Kuraka. Or Kuraja. I usually say it sort of a JJ rather than a Kheje. Restore HP targets in range proportional to amount. So yeah, it's the Cura of Cure. This is Kuraja of Kurasa, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Probably doesn't, but nonetheless, it is the wide version of Kurasa. So it really is pretty much anything that helps her heal us is going to be a pretty huge boon. Deprotect Gar, that's not going to go amiss. Being able to sort of basically sticking the Gar on the end, if you're unaware, has made it a group one, I believe. I'm just going to double check that that's correct. Within a wide radius, there you go. Jinx, what does that do? Extend duration of target's existing status elements upon inflicting new ones. It's going to be very useful. It's going to be very useful in sort of not necessarily. It's kind of I don't know what I'm trying to get through as a thought. It's certainly not useless by any stretch of the imagination, but it's quite good if say like in this party, if she can sabotage quicker than Zaz can synergize, then obviously you're sat in that paradigm waiting for Zaz to continue synergizing. The sabotage is going to waste. Now with that jinx, the sabotage will not go to waste. That's what I'm trying to get as a point. But obviously, sabotage is usually the slower of the two, in fairness. Because synergy just works, whereas sabotage is a chance it will work. Oh, you've got an extra accessory slot. I don't know. I mean, so far I've literally just buffed your health with accessory slots, so I don't know if I want to continue that trend, or possibly do something a little bit more with your accessories. I do have a variety available to me, just I don't really know where to go with it. Right, I completed your what's it? So I think Ravager is the better choice at the moment. Having a second high quality medic wouldn't necessarily go amiss, but Lightning is so dedicated to attack damage that it's not hugely worthwhile sort of fighting against the idea of her just being a stupendous damager. You might as well just embrace it and use her to her maximum potential, which is kicking the shit out of enemies. Right, and Hope, unfortunately Hope is kind of, I mean, he's just a little bit too sort of, to be honest, Zaz synergizes better than Hope. Everybody ravages better than Hope. Vanille medics better than Hope. So, sorry kid, but you kind of suck. Because everybody does your job just better. That's the problem he's got. Every role he currently has, someone else does better. And he's only got 1,890 health. And we've had enough trouble with Vanille dying every 5 seconds. So the idea of the boy lasting longer than Vanille is almost laughable. So, yeah. Well, that's not who it was it? No, it was Fang, you bloody idiot. Fang, there we go. Fang. Fangs for the memories. Right, Ice Charm. Random Ice Eater. I don't like that. I don't like it. If it was just Ice Eater, yeah, sure. Delightful. But it's not. It's random. So that's shit. You don't know a lot about Final Fantasy XIII, but I do know no one likes Hope. I don't know. Like as a character, I don't mind him. He plays his role in the story, and it's quite nice. However, whoops, where are you going? What are you doing, you stupid controller? However, as I say, he does have this unfortunate issue. I said I might stick that in at some point. I don't... See, part of the problem here is I don't know whether I need Fang in the battle for Item Scavenger to actually kick in. It feels like the answer to that question is yes. However, I don't know for certain. So, she's going to equip it. Eventually, she's going to get back in the battle, truth be told. Because I like her. She's very good. Oh, shit. If I want to explore that path, I'm going to end up having to go through this prick again. I don't really want to. But I don't think I currently have much choice. Oh, sneaky boy! Yes. Got to admit, watching the stream has made me think about getting around to actually playing Final Fantasy XIII. I would highly recommend it. Truth be told, I would. Because I think Final Fantasy XIII is a very good story. Now, yes, as was discussed when it first came out, it's quite linear. But I don't find that to be a bad thing, truth be told. Because I quite like the way it's sort of... You know, I almost exchange the word linear with focused. And so you can sort of focus along the lines of the game and the story, and you really can enjoy it. And hello, Slump Chulos. Welcome. You've harpooned your way to a new streamer, following a new streamer. I don't know my own catchphrases. Oh shit, there's a bloody exploding... well, at least it's Zaz who's being exploded upon. Yeah, there you go. I'm not that fussed about that. Welcome. Welcome to the world of SaturJay RPG, where we are doing Final Fantasy XIII. It's a delight. But yeah, the storyline's well worth it. Because I just didn't really get it. Now, see, I also found myself, I played it and didn't enjoy it that much. And a lot of it was based on the fact that I didn't fully appreciate the battle system. And I still have issues with the battle system. But once you start learning some of the nuances, I think you can get behind the battle system a little bit better. Because I sort of got stuck, where it was like, I can't get past this thing. I don't know how. There's nothing I can do. And so I wrote it off because I wasn't enjoying the battle system. And then I gave it a second go, and it was like, actually, no, okay. If you do this, and some of it is just the simple act of getting them to go early, like that. That was entirely unnecessary, but some of the crucial elements is, I want you to attack now, please. And you can do that with the sort of extra button. But yeah, the battle system has its flaws, because the auto battle is too good. It's too good. You don't have to make decisions, because the auto battle basically makes the right decision. And I almost want the auto battle to be worse, because then it would feel like I have to make a choice. But the nature and speed of the battles, you kind of need that auto battle, because you can see I just keep using the auto battle. Do whatever you want. It's rare. I was using like Entrench as opposed to Medigard earlier on, and you saw how well that happened. I was going Entrench. Entrench, please. Entrench. Oh shit, I need the Medigard! And the AI, the auto-battler, knew that. That's why the auto-battler was using Medigard instead of Entrench for me. But yeah. There's slight nuances of the battle system. Once you get the hang of them, I think it does improve substantially. FF12, I hated it the first time I played it. Going back to it later, it's now one of my favourites. Yeah, I must admit, it's weird. I never found issue with FF12's battle system. In fact, I think it was, I don't know if it was specifically last week or some other time. Might have been some other time I was discussing it. But I absolutely adore the Gambit. Am I the right Final Fantasy? Let me just make a mental thing. Yep, I am. The Gambit system. I absolutely adored the Gambit system because it was just the right sort of figuring out the AI to get the AI to do what you want the AI to do. And I absolutely, that's a lot more hoplites than I thought it was. But yeah, I absolutely adored that Gambit system, and you just don't see it anywhere else, as far as I know. I think Dragon Age Origins had something similar, but by no means as customizable, I don't think. But it really did allow you to sort of get the AI to do what you wanted them to do. So if you wanted everything to sort of focus on one target, that's how you set it up. And that's what I usually did, because targeting one thing, killing it, better than targeting multiple. If you wanted, a nice safety blanket of cures, you could set that up so that, after you've lost X amount of health, you do cures. But yeah, I absolutely loved Final Fantasy XII's Gambit system. The only issue I ever had with Final Fantasy XII, and it's interesting, it was explained, I think, the other day. I believe it was Chester Phoenix informed me of this. But the one issue I had with Final Fantasy XII was always the fact that it felt like all the action, all the story and action, felt like it was happening elsewhere. Like you were sent across the desert for a lovely little jaunt across the desert, and then shitloads of stuff happened where you weren't. And that's what I always kept feeling with the storyline. And apparently, at least partially, perhaps, the reasoning behind that is owing to... Oh, hello, this is a full-blown scene. Oh dear, this might be trouble. This is definitely trouble. It's a very large beastie with its little sort of... It always makes me think, like, those chains just make me think of, like, a beard. It's got, like, a beard, a chain beard. Right, okay, it's not a great start. It's not a great start. One punch and we've lost most of our health bar. We probably want to scan it. so that we know what we need to be using. But this is another key point about the battle system. So the reason why I always Libra everything, if you were wondering, is that affects the auto battle. So if, for example, here, now both things are halved here, so it's not going to help me out much. But if, for example, only the physical symbol, which I can't really highlight that well, but if you look on the right-hand side, you've got that list of things. Very bottom is magic, one above is physical. If, say, the physical was still halved, but the magic was not halved, the auto-battler would bias all magic attacks, rather than using physical attacks. At this point, it doesn't matter, because this thing is in horse shit. Because I think that first punch... Now, see, this makes me even more annoyed, because they classify this thing as level 3. That's where levels give you no information, because this thing is not a level 3, this is a level I am going to shit you up. And I don't 100% think it's worthwhile trying to fight this, because I am doing very little damage, and it is brutalising me. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The fact that that did 5,000 in one shot, that tells me I don't want to piss about with this thing. So, I think we won't be doing that battle. We'll just be leaving that one and popping back to the save point. Irritating. Irritating beyond belief. Especially because, of course, they've respawned everything else. Which... I can't deny is probably quite good because it gets me extra CP, which will get me extra stats, which will allow me to beat it. So, I suppose technically it's not that bad that they actually respawned every enemy, but it's still slightly tiresome having to fight every single enemy back again. Da dee 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 da doo 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 dee 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 da 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 doo 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 dee 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 and diddly dum dee doo da day. Luckily, I've got the back attack, so these guys are going to go down like the little bitches they are. Go on, you stupid little hoplite, without your big bag of wankers, you are nothing to me. I will kick the shit out of thee. Yes, indeed, I will. Oh, yeah. 5 stars, baby, 5 stars. Told you I was going to kick them senseless. Right. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, I'm afraid. We're just mooching back the same way we just came, fighting all the same enemies again. I fear I don't have anything clever or interesting to say now, because we are just basically doing the same thing we did 5 minutes ago. It's just straight up again. Absolutely 100% straight up repeat. I can only apologise that has happened. But I had to find out what was down the nook and the cranny. I can't help myself. I have to uncover all of the map, even though it puts me in danger, and it almost always does. Cause when you go down the nooks and the crannies, you usually get eaten, and it really is quite bad. Carry on regardless. Do. Right, okay. Are you gonna... Oh, no, bye. Saz, get out of the way. I appreciate you backing me up, but on that occasion I really needed you to... Oh, no. I thought opportunity was knocking, but still. Here's the topic. Which FF is your favourite? Ooh... It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. I think traditionally I've always considered Final Fantasy VIII to be my favourite. A lot of that, and I can't, I don't deny this, a lot of it is because when I was a youngster, I mean, this would have been teens now. Bloody hell, Jesus. Now I feel really old. But nonetheless, this would have been back in sort of secondary school, I think, / college. No, I think it was secondary school, so quite some time ago. But nonetheless, a lot of it is because I had a mate of mine was super passionate for Final Fantasy VIII, and so we used to chat about Final Fantasy VIII a lot. And I think to a certain extent that did bias my thought track, my opinion, and lent me further towards Final Fantasy VIII. However, I do still, I've long since lost contact with him, and I still find Final Fantasy VIII to be one of my favoured ones. I don't know, there's something about it that holds my interest, and I like it. Despite its flaws, because I know I've discussed in the past, so I won't go too much into detail, and I think there was a video, is it Pro Jared? Yes it is. He recently did a video discussing it. I can't deny, it got a bit tedious in the middle, where it was just sort of, I don't like this, wake me up when you've gotten to the next section where you're not just repeating and tirelessly sort of berating it. But he did, the rest of the video, he made some very good points. It's just, I feel like it was like a half-hour video. I think he could have condensed it down to about 20 minutes, and it would have made for a better view, if you ask me. That's my opinion. But nonetheless, he did raise some very good points, which I'd raised in the past as well. The draw and junction system, although super unique and interesting, is fundamentally flawed in multiple ways. Most of which is the fact that once you junction a spell, you then don't want to use that spell. So pretty much magic is just a storage. You never really want to use it as a thing. You just want to store it and hoard it so that your stats buff. And I also sort of agree, but also disagree with one of his points, which was the characters are just sort of shells for the GFs, because it's the GFs that really sort of define all the stats and stuff. And that is true. But I quite like that fact, because it means you can just sort of use the characters you quite like, rather than necessarily being, say if Selphie was really good at healing, you might be biased towards going, kind of have to use her, don't I? Kind of have to. She's the healer. Have to use her. So I quite like it being open to whoever you like. I quite liked Irvin. Granted, most of that's, long coat, but what can I say? I'm a sucker for a long coat. And yes, I know, I said I like snow, and he's got a long coat. I can't help myself. I've got long coat syndrome. I just love a long coat. Anybody with a long coat is okay by me. But yeah, so I think I do still stand by Final Fantasy VIII as one of my favourites of all time. Because... And oh, Vanille! Vanille! Just live a little longer than 2 seconds. Found FF8 was far more enjoyable by basically making myself not sit there and spam draw for hours. Well, see, that's interesting, yeah, because I don't think I ever did... Oh, dear, I'm distracted. I shouldn't have gone against the boxed fucker again, should I? Oh, Zaz. Oh, I've got Renew available, so let's utilise Renew. Okay, come on. Renew. There we go. Renew it now, please. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't. See, this is a weird one, because, again, in this sort of Pro Jared video, he discussed this idea that you could basically break the game if you just go to a specific beach and farm the draw for hours, and that's it. That's you. You can now just beat the game without caring because you're overpowered as shit. I literally never knew that until that video, and that feels like maybe one of the reasons why I've enjoyed Final Fantasy VIII, because I play the game as a game. I go through the game, I do a little bit of draw here, a little bit of draw there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And so by the end game, sure, I've got most of the spells that I want, junctioned where I want them, and doing what I want. But I've not overpowered myself early doors by sitting there going, draw, 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 draw. So I feel almost like I've inadvertently made it better for myself by not playing the sort of stat buffy game. I've just been playing the game. So I feel like that's part of the advantage I've had of it. Mixed with mixed with the fact that I just, you know, I just quite like the storyline. As convoluted and ridiculous as it was, I do quite enjoy it, the way it goes. You figured out how to break it. Now, see, I don't know. I suppose in a way I probably knew that you could just spam draw, and because I mean to a certain extent I did, but I think at all times I was always I'm very much the sort of person who would go, yeah, I'll draw for about 30 seconds, I'm bored, and carry on. But yeah, I don't know. Final Fantasy VIII, because I quite liked Squall, and I know, again, referencing this Pro Jared video, he did critique Squall quite substantially for being just sort of, I can't remember exactly what he said, but there was something to do with, and I think weirdly seeing all the examples, because I mean, don't get me wrong, as much as I said it sort of ground on me a little bit towards the middle of the video, all of his points were very well made and reasonably thought out. But yeah, his points about sort of Squall, especially I think the idea that sort of, yeah, I think it was focused a lot on how you can play him as an absolute dickhead throughout the entire game, and then somehow it's classified as miraculously, and then miraculously he becomes this, you know, he's so Mrs. Renoa and has all that stuff at the end with Renoa. But there's a weird thing for me. Again, I think to a certain extent maybe I'm projecting, but I found Squall to be sort of, yes, he sort of was the miserable, you know, he sort of played the miserable git sort of thing, and the sort of indifferent, I'm not interested type character. But the others sort of didn't. And again, like, he criticised the fact that it's almost always everybody else making decisions for Squall. And I don't know, for some reason that seemed to sort of resonate with me as a sort of, well, yeah, because Squall doesn't want people knowing him, perhaps? So yes, he did need everybody else to make these decisions for him, and technically he appreciated that. And, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but either way, I had a deeper appreciation and sort of thing with Squall than he was given credit for by the video, is what I'm trying to put forth. But I think a lot of that was perhaps me projecting my own mind onto Squall. I don't know, but nonetheless, I did quite like him. And to be honest, there is an element of Gunblade. I can't help myself. Gunblade wants to appear as though he's aloof and doesn't care, whereas in reality he does care a lot. So yes, there you go. A proper human being saying it in proper words there. That's pretty much what I've been trying to get at with my ramblings. You've nicely condensed that. So yes, that's pretty much exactly what I'm suggesting. But as I say, to a certain extent, I do wonder if a lot of that was when I was younger and playing it, I projected all of that onto him, rather than that's actually what it was meant to be. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, Final Fantasy VIII I think is sort of my favourite, but then again, I wouldn't want to choose Final Fantasy VIII as the only Final Fantasy I can ever play again. I wouldn't want to choose any Final Fantasy as the only Final Fantasy I can play again, because I love them all for different reasons. You know, I love the origins, I suppose. Yeah, origins is the word I'm after. Simpler than the word I was thinking I was going for. But I love the origins with Final Fantasy 1 and 2, the sort of simplicity of those games, along with the delightful pixel graphics. 3 and 4... 3, I think, is reasonably similar. 1, 2, and 3 all follow a fairly similar track, don't they? Or am I... maybe just 1 and 2? I can't deny 3, 4, and 5, they are slightly hazier in my memory, because I have not played them in quite some time. But I do roughly remember enjoying them. Then 6 is magnificent. 6 is a... I mean, it's just fantastic beyond comparison, really. It's got all that delightful pixel graphics whilst also possessing a phenomenal storyline. Then 7, I mean 7 is 7. Let's be perfectly honest, 7 is 7. It is a landmark in video game history, let alone in Final Fantasy history. Possibly one of the earliest and first occasions where a main character who you'd been playing as throughout the entire game actually ends up being killed off. Oh, is it 5 that introduced the job system? Blimey. Yeah, no, that's not surprising, because the job system was rather interesting. I'm surprised, I thought that was earlier. I suppose you do sort of create your own people in 1, don't you? Or you define their classes early doors? I can't remember now. I do need to go back through 1 to 5. Really need to play 6 again at some point. Recently did 9. It's been a while since I've done 8. Recently did 7, and have done 7 Remake, of course. 10 I have recently played. 10-2 I have recently played. Well, by recently I mean it's a good couple of years ago, but that's enough for me to recall them compared to say sort of 1 to 5, which is, you know, a good 15 to 20 years ago we played those ones. 10 and 10-2 were within the last 5. 13 or 12, I suppose, next, isn't it? 12 I quite liked, but as I say, the storyline really did feel a little bit too distant from where you were actually, you know, where you were actually located. It kept feeling like you were sort of, it almost felt like you were kind of being, like almost, they didn't want you to be around, so they'd sort of dangle their keys off to one side while drinking wine in the other hand or something. I don't know. It's a shit way of describing what you're trying to say. Yeah, I know. But it really did feel like you were told to go off somewhere, and then shitloads of storyline happened, and you just sort of returned to, yeah, all this happened. Should I not have been involved in this? Nah, you're right. Just embrace the fact that it happened, eh? And then Final Fantasy XIII, obviously, I've specified I do enjoy. It is probably one of the more... It's probably one of the more refined and interesting storylines, with a lot of the emphasis being on the interrelational statuses of the characters. So the whole sort of beginning bit with Snow and Hope. I won't go into specific details, because if you do fancy playing it, it will make for better viewing if you don't necessarily have the story spot. But nonetheless, all of their different sort of relationships and how the relationships overlap, and how all that sort of comes to be, and the whole sort of days later flashbacks, I think works quite nicely. So I think as a story, I think Final Fantasy XIII is definitely one of the highest up there. Final Fantasy VII probably still pips it, but nonetheless Final Fantasy sort of 13 is up there storyline wise. 13-2, very enjoyable as a game and an RPG experience. Weirdly similar to Tales of Symphonia 2. Never really tracked down why that was, but if you've ever played the pair of them, it's very much sort of a very peculiar kind of... Wait. This protagonist dresses in blue. Even down to the two protagonists dress in blue. They both have a summoning system. Well, not a summoning system, sorry. A beast companion system. So you take monsters as partners in battle in Final Fantasy 13-2, and you do so in Final Fantasy Tales of Symphonia 2 as well, which was weird. Just so many bits and pieces seem to overlap, and it's like, how? What? I don't understand. Because I swear, if you look up Tales of Symphonia 2 protagonists and look up Final Fantasy 13-2 protagonists, you will find that Noah, I think it's Noah in Final Fantasy 13-2, dresses in a blue outfit, not too dissimilar to the lead character in Final Fantasy Symphonia 2, and then the female lead, who is Sarah in Final Fantasy 13-2, dresses in a sort of pinkish hue, alarmingly similar to the pinkish hue that is present upon the Towers of Symphonia female lead. It's bizarre how close they seem to be. But nonetheless, Final Fantasy 13-2, technically, very good system, very good battle system, very enjoyable, because they took this auto battle system and sort of threw it in a bin and went back to a far more traditional turn-based style, and it was very satisfying. Very satisfying. Right, we're going to take down at least one hoplite, and then we're probably going to... Actually, what I might... what I might do is try and take down 2, perhaps? Because the hoplites are easier to take down, and I need to try and keep them under control, perhaps. So if I take down 2 out of the 3, and then focused on the box phalanx... Oh, no, he's deployed them. Okay, fine. No, okay, now the situation's possibly become untenable. So, yeah, I think... maybe need to trash another group of this... I hate the boxed phalanx. Hate them. Hate them. Absolutely fucking hate them. Hate them beyond comparison. Opening up a whole nother topic. Yes, true. That, you know, they've been going around almost as long, if not longer. I don't know. I think Final Fantasy would have the edge on sort of length of having been around, but they're both epically long series. Oh, god damn it. You fucking... let's try and... Box Phalanx has so much health. So much health. I hate this fight. Absolutely fucking hate this fight. Let's try and take down one more box... one more... Oh, yep. I hate this fight. I hate this fight. Have I mentioned how much I hate this fight? Because, yeah, I hate this fight. Oh, he's got all the buffs as well. So, is there one without buffs? No. They're all super buffed up. This fight. Tastes like bullshit. Oh, Vanille! Why must you be this way? Because you're weak beyond comparison. Okay, let's try sentineling it out. I don't think it's going to work. Oh, God, I don't want to do this fight. I think I might leave it. I think I'm getting slightly... I'm tiny bit too irritated now. Because there must be something I'm missing. But I don't think there is. I think it's just built to be cock. And there's no way I'm going to win this fight now. Because you focus on the boxed phalanx, the hoplites kick the shit out of you. You focus on the hoplites, the boxed phalanx brings out more hoplites. There's not a... Both situations seem to lead to horse shit. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of horse shit. And I think it's leading up to about finale time. So, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to book it backwards to the save point and leave it for this week, because otherwise I think I might get a little bit too agitated over that fight, because I don't like the fucking boxed phalanx. They're a pain in the arse. I need to figure out a better solution to deal with them. It might be a case of buffs and debuffs immediately. That might help me out, but just the combination of horseshit in that fight just forms this sort of unfathomable volume of shit that is overwhelming at the moment. But while we're doing this, I'll go back to discussing... So we got to Final Fantasy 13-2. And so the next one, of course, would be Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, which completely revolutionised the gameplay again. And I found quite an enjoyable gameplay. Weird, because it's a solo fighting system, so it's just one character, I think, at all times. And it's another one, a little bit like where we discussed Bravely Default. It seems to be one that's built for you to redo it several times. And I don't... I'm not keen on that idea. I know it's been used on several occasions in several other games, but it is one of those ones where it's like, I don't really want to sink this many hours into it and then be told I need to sink this many hours into it again to continue and get somewhere. But fundamentally the battle system's quite entertaining. Just the one key thing you have to remember with Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and then Lightning Returns is basically they share fuck all apart from the name Final Fantasy 13. Because, like, it's truly amazing. They went, we've built Final Fantasy 13, we've done a lovely little story, now we're going to retcon the entire ending of the story so that we can build Final Fantasy 13-2. And it's like, you didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do that. They could have just carried on. And yet they decided to completely adjust the ending. And it's like, why would you... For fuck's sake. That's where I like Final Fantasy X and 10-2. Because you went from 10, and you go to 10-2, and it's a direct follow-on. And it's like, yes, we can find out what happened to all our favourite people. Assuming Wakka was one of your favourite people. Wakka and Lulu, of course, you know, you get to explore the next section of their life story. And it's nice, it's pleasant, it's enjoyable. Whereas Final Fantasy 13-2 just went... taking the shit on Final Fantasy 13 now. And it's confusing as to why they bothered with that. Because I think they could have still had the storyline they had without necessarily having a dump all over the thing. I suppose arguably because 13-2 delves into time travel, they might get away with it. And I think there's multiple different endings, and I think I only ever got one ending from Final Fantasy 13-2. That's why I kind of want to give Final Fantasy 13-2 another go, because I don't think I delved enough into 13-2. I think I could have done with a lot more. I think I might just lose this battle in a moment. No, I think I got away with it. It's just I spotted he was going to do Pile Driver and he was targeting Snow, and I just... It felt a lot like he was going to just end me because Snow had very limited health. And then, moving onwards in our Final Fantasy discussion, Final Fantasy 15. Absolute delight. Absolute delight, that one. I can't deny. It is... when I saw the trailers for it, I thought, this looks weirdly like it's just going to be sort of like lads, bants, holiday. And weirdly it was. It was sort of lads on holiday. Lads on holiday. Because you drive around in your car, you go camping, you have a fucking whale of a time. But yeah, it was very enjoyable going Final Fantasy 15. I did love it. The characters are rather spectacular and interesting, and it's just nice. And another sort of way of kind of, I suppose, a bit like where I was saying seal of approval, I suppose, arguably, I don't know. But where I said about I don't usually restart games immediately, but Final Fantasy VII Remake, I did. A seal of approval on Final Fantasy 15 would perhaps be I played through Final Fantasy 15 and then I picked up the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket version, or I think it was called Pocket version or something along those lines, which was basically a sort of pretty much a whole new game, essentially, for the most part. It was a whole new game, just cut down for sort of... Certainly I have it on the Switch, so it's definitely cut down and available on the Switch. But yeah, they trimmed down the graphics to a new style, and it was good because they did trim it down to a whole new style. They didn't just trim the graphics down, they trimmed it to a new style of graphics. And that really, I thought that really worked well. And the gameplay, again, they didn't just sort of trim bits out, they trimmed it down into a whole new form of gameplay. And again, very satisfying. What we might try and do is I might just... cancel the save, yes. Yeah, we'll polish off a few more Crystarian points. So yeah, 15 I liked. And I liked it enough to go, do you know what? This Pocket version looks different enough to make it worthwhile purchasing. And so I did. I purchased the Pocket version a second time and enjoyed Final Fantasy 15 all over again. So there you go. That's my seal of approval on Final Fantasy 15. Good enough to purchase the alternate version with lower graphics. Different graphics. Lower is doing them a disservice, I think. Different is a much better way of describing them. Because, as I say, it's still a delightful art style, despite being of a simpler nature. And again, despite being of a simpler nature, the gameplay really worked nicely as well. and it was genuinely one of those ones where I didn't know what I was expecting as such, but it very much sort of excelled past my expectations and made me go, wow, I'm really pleased I purchased this. Which arguably, you should probably try your best to pick up purchases that make you go, I'm really glad I purchased this. But every now and again, you pick up one and you go, this was a regrettable decision. Whereas, as I say, pocket version Final Fantasy 15, definitely not a poor decision, I felt, on my part, because it had everything I wanted from it, and it was very enjoyable. And Final Fantasy 16 to come soon, unless it is already out and I've just missed it, but I think it's coming out in the not too distant future on the PlayStation 5. Now, I don't own a PlayStation 5, so it might be difficult to get my hands on Final Fantasy 16, which will be slightly disappointing. But also, I need to look into it more, but from the last trailers I saw, there was dangerously close to Dark Souls looking stuff there. And it's like, I'm not a fan of Dark Souls. And so I kind of hope they've either just, done an action-based gameplay that has a similar vibe and taken very little of anything else to do with Dark Souls, or I'm just plain old wrong. That's pretty much what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I'm plain old wrong. But from what I saw, it was a little bit sort of like, oh, could you maybe not be Dark Souls? Could you not be Final Fantasy Dark Souls, please? Because I've discussed it in the past. I'm not a fan of Dark Souls. You like Dark Souls, but you still that's another thing. Even someone like yourself there, I like Dark Souls, but I don't need Final Fantasy Dark Souls. And that, there is that argument as well. Now, my relationship with Dark Souls is troubled. For some reason, I didn't finish off Fang's CP. Weird, I must have skipped past her somehow. Not entirely sure how, but never mind. I think... No, it's because I finished Sentinel and then forgot to do the rest of it into something else. But it's a troubled relationship. Because I don't do well with the die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat nature of Dark Souls. I do not do well with that. And unfortunately, I'm pretty shit at the battle systems in Dark Souls, so that is kind of how my Dark Souls-ing goes. So it grows very repetitive and very tedious very quickly and makes me just want to not. And so I don't... But having said that, on some of the Dark Souls style games that have come out, I've not minded them. I did get through and kind of enjoyed quite a bit Darksiders 3, which took a good few of the Dark Souls style mechanics into play, but not quite as hardcore, which is beneficial for me. So, as I say, hopefully, if they're going with just a sort of nice action gameplay, I'll hold my hands up. I'm not going to mind that. But if they're going sort of heavy sort of Dark Souls influence and kind of getting in there and being sort of enemies will hit you like a truck and therefore you're going to die so many times, it's ridiculous. It does, it's going to start being like, I don't think I want Final Fantasy 16. But as I say, I don't know for certain that's where they're going with it, so I can't, I'm not making judgments this early. It's one of those ones where I saw a bit of gameplay that looked a little bit like Dark Souls, and my heart sunk. And it was like, oh no, please don't do that. Square, I'm begging you, don't do this. But the other thing I love about Dark Souls is all the lore stuff. I love the dark nature and the crazy creatures and the lore behind it. I absolutely adore all of that. I just can't play the games. And that's the only thing I don't like about Dark Souls, is the fact that I can't do them. Which is very much a me problem, not a Dark Souls problem, but it is still a problem. Doesn't matter who's responsible for the problem, it's still a problem. So yeah, it is very much a sort of, oh my, I don't know how to resolve this problem. Apart from getting good, I suppose, but unfortunately, very difficult to do that. So anyway, that is it for this session. Hope you enjoyed, and welcome. I don't necessarily expect you to still be here, but nonetheless, I suppose we can welcome our new people once more, which I believe was Mr. John Cregan, and technically there was a couple offline. Do thank Mr. Daedalus Plays for the follow. That was from yesterday. Then there was Sophie's Gaming as well. Lovely, delightful for you following. And then the live ones that went through, John Cregan, thank you very much, and Slump Chuloth, thank you very much as well. If you wish to become a member of my fledgling town, do feel free to join the Discord. If you're looking for more entertainment tonight, in terms of miniature gaming, you can enjoy Mr. Malice Caliber, who's teaching X-Wing at the moment. Then if you're much more a fan of painting miniatures, you have a Monsieur Blue Bouche, who indeed has a blue bouche. He goes down to the hairdresser and he says, Senor. Why he says Senor in a French accent, I do not know, but he nonetheless does it. He's crazy, man. Crazy, man. He goes down and says, Senor, can I have blue bouche? And the man goes, yes, I have blue dye right here. And so, yes. Anyway, craziness aside, you've got blue bouche available tonight. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure if there's anybody else. Well, I mean, there's bound to be someone else, isn't there? Let's be perfectly honest. There's always someone on Twitch. It doesn't just shut down, 9 o'clock. That's it. That's your lot. Twitch is off. Like really old school TV. When TV originated, we've gotten to 10 o'clock and now we're going to the off screen. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else specific there. So what we'll do is we'll do a little raid. We'll pop in to see an individual by the name of Baz Hicks. Quite entertaining, quite good for sort of group gameplay. Encourages a lot of community. He's doing a 12-hour stream for celebrating having been an affiliate for a year, I believe. So what we'll do is do that. I will be back Monday, 4:30 for the Arts Hole, where I don't know precisely what we're doing. I've got to make a bit more of a decision and maybe try and come up with something to zhuzh it up, perhaps. But the name's fun because it's the Arts Hole. So come along, come and stare at my Arts Hole for a few hours on Monday afternoon. And then Wednesday we'll be probably doing some more hodgepodge, which will probably be Rocket League because I'm kind of in a bit of a Rocket League kick at the moment, so that's fun. And then Thursday, 9 o'clock, Dragon Quest Builders 2, which is always fun, and then followed by this War of Mine, which is never fun. That's a very good game. Very good game. Just the tone. It's a huge tonal shift. Dragon Quest Builders 2, it's fun. It's building. This War of Mine, everybody's depressed. Everybody's dead. My God, the world couldn't get any worse. It's a bit of a weird shift. Not gonna lie, bit of a weird shift, but nonetheless, it kind of sums up my gaming history, I think. Just this bizarre, sporadic shift either way. And then Saturday we'll be back for more SaturJay, where we'll be continuing with Final Fantasy XIII. Don't know precisely where we're going to go. Probably have another go at that boxed phalanx and just try and do it better. I just don't know precisely how to do it better, so it might be back out into the plains, do a bit more training. Although having said that, we did boost our stats just now, so I might be able to just pop in and beat it this time. Anyway, this raid's going to start in a minute now, so I'm going to say cheerio, thank you for watching, and then I'm going to raid, and then I'm going to turn the stream off. So cheerio, thank you very much for watching, off we pop.